Rauner to accept compromises on those issues if they want a deal by the end of the week deadline.
If Governor Rauner is reasonable on these issues, then we can finalize an overall agreement.
In addition, Madigan has his own non-budget demands, including a Rauner signature on a school funding reform plan. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
Lansing police investigating after videos surfaced online showing an off-duty police officer holding down a teenage boy. The footage was taken Saturday outside of the officer's Lansing home. The officer can be heard using profanity as he pins down a 15-year-old. Now, investigators say the boy had just been involved in a major fight, and the officer was detaining him until on-duty officers arrived. A key city council committee is backing an emergency order for the overnight closing of pedestrian tunnels underneath Lakeshore Drive, but one alderman says the move shows disrespect for the safety of other neighborhoods. Downtown Alderman Brendan Riley convinced colleagues on the Finance Committee to back that measure, pointing to the recent shooting death of a 25-year-old woman. But Southside Alderman Anthony Beale called the move an overreaction to a small downtown problem. Chicago-based American Medical Association is warning the Senate's new health insurance plan would hurt the nation's most vulnerable citizens. The lobbying group CEO, James Madeira, said in a letter to the Senate, both Majority Leader McConnell and Minority Leader Schumer, the plan would expose low and middle income patients to higher costs and greater difficulty in affording care. However, thousands of AMA member doctors opposed Obamacare, which the AMA supported. That drove up costs, booted doctors out of plans, and limited insurance coverage for the most vulnerable and middle-income taxpayers as Obamacare exchanges collapsed. Cubs escape with a 5-4 win over the Nationals, the opener of a 4-game series in Washington. Yankees hold on to top the White Sox 6-5 in the first of 4 on the south side. Florida's Gators are a win away from their first National College Baseball Championship as they beat LSU in Game 1 of the College World Series 4-3. Teemu Solani, Paul Correa, a dynamic duo in the NHL, one of the best ever, and a duo in Anaheim for several years. And now the Ducks are going into the NHL Hall of Fame together. The news, a service of the CDC's Doing It HIV testing campaign. HIV doesn't have a face. It can happen to anyone, anytime. It's not just about you. It's about your community. And what's important is that you get tested and tested regularly. Everyone does it to stay strong. Everyone's doing it. Are you? 5:06 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The temperature this summer is on the rise, and everyone is talking about one person, President Donald Trump. As controversy swirls around his presidency and the Democrats and the mainstream media take aim, what will happen next? Join AM 560's Joe Walsh for the Summer of Trump, Tuesday, August 22nd at the Bolingbrook Golf Club, also featuring Hugh Hewitt and Guy Benson. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/summer. That's 560theanswer.com/summer.
If you're aged 59 and a half or older with the 401k plan and still working, stop what you're doing and call Arlington Capital Management at 855-471-5796. They'll help you actively manage your 401k, show you strategies to avoid major declines, and capitalize on opportunities. There are benefits with age, and this is one of them. At 59 and a half, you're entitled to new opportunities in the investment world that can dramatically improve your results and even lower your fees. Call 855-471-5796 now and take the first step toward getting more out of your retirement assets. The team at Arlington Capital Management proactively explores the market, our economy, and all of the variables that offset your investments. Call 855-471-5796 now for a complimentary consultation. That's 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com. You worked hard to accumulate your nest egg. Now, it's time to put your money to work for you.
What's the scariest thing about going to the dentist? Opening your mouth or opening your wallet? Because just a simple cleaning can cost $100, and things like root canals can cost you hundreds more. If you don't have dental insurance to help, you should give Physicians Mutual Insurance Company a call. 1-800-300-8038. This isn't a discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance that helps pay for checkups right away, so you can call today and get your teeth cleaned tomorrow. Plus, it helps cover the more expensive procedures you might need down the road. Fillings, crowns, bridges, even costly dentures. There's no deductible and no annual maximum. Your acceptance is guaranteed for one of these insurance policies, even if you're retired or on Medicare. There are no networks, so you can choose any dentist you'd like. That's right, any dentist you want. Call and we'll rush you a free information kit with all the details. 1-800-300-8038. That's 1-800-300-8038. 1-800-300-8038.
Yes, indeed. Summertime. Another hot one. Wait, gonna be a little bit cooler today. Back to hot. Gonna be windy. Maybe a thunderstorm mixed in for good measure. Up and down and up and down. The climate is always changing. Your company's heating and cooling system really gets a workout in Chicagoland. Be ready for anything this summer. Call Air Comfort and get your business's cooling system tuned up and running at peak performance. You see, the Air Comfort problem solvers can find small problems before they become big problems. Plus, proper maintenance will keep your system from wasting energy and money. Air Comfort will make sure your equipment is clean and obstacle-free. And if your chiller is about to or has stopped working, they can install temporary solutions to keep you cool while the long-term fixes are put in place. The key to keep your climate from changing is preventative maintenance, and Air Comfort can help. Schedule a comprehensive assessment of your mechanical system today. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
5:10. Check of the roads this early morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. The latest for us with Jim Talamonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mike. The second straight morning, we have a closure due to a major overnight wreck. This is the one you described on the west side. Costner remains closed in both directions at Roosevelt as the crash investigation continues. This is a major collision with cars wrapped around the street pole there. Happened after 1 a.m. and Costner remains blocked. Stevenson Expressway outbound a little heavy. Lamont Road to 355. Overnight work is cleared now, so what was about a 5-minute delay is loosening up. Inbound Bishop Ford, there's a 5 or so, and about a 7-minute delay from 103rd to the merge. 2 right lanes have been blocked with road work. That has just cleared, but you've still got delays in that area starting now around 111th Street. Traffic is a service of CDC's Doing It HIV testing campaign. Everyone's doing it. Everyone is testing for HIV. Lead by example. Knowing your HIV status allows you to stay healthy, fast, free, and confidential. Make HIV testing a part of your routine. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
A sunny day today, high 77, clear night low 59, partly sunny with a gusty breeze. Tomorrow, high 83, then mostly cloudy and breezy. Tomorrow night, watch for severe thunderstorm in the evening, which could bring flash flooding and damaging winds, low 69. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
53 at O'Hare, 58 along Chicago's lakefront. This morning, it's 55 at Midway and 50 this morning in Aurora. Water temp at Wilmette Harbor, 63. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
We've got a lawbreaker. Oh, yeah. Good morning. Welcome to AM 560, The Answer. Amy Jacobson here. Dan Proft is breaking the law. That's why I wanted our technical director, Justin, to play that. Funny thing happened on the way to work, Mike Scott.
How's that?
We are driving in on, not we don't live together.
Were you racing?
We were not racing because normally in situations like this, he leaves me in his dust. Mm-hmm. He plows through. Got to get out of the left-hand lane for Dan Proft. But this morning he was going quite fast. I saw him whiz by me, and he was zigzagging in the right lane, then in the left lane, then back in the center lane. Mm-hmm. You know, I watched him go, and I was going about 80. He probably was going 110. That's what I think that they clocked him at. So, Illinois State Police, pulled him over. I saw it happen. And I do believe that this might be his fourth offense in a year.
That's going to be expensive.
Oh, yeah. So do you get your insurance yanked after you're caught speeding 4 times in a year? Your premiums just go through the roof.
It's a good question. Premiums will go up. However, whether or not it's a real problem like getting a license yanked or something like that, we'll have to do some investigation.
I wonder if I did see him, though. So I saw the lights and I saw his car and I thought, oh, yeah, Mom is going to like this one. Should I take a picture? Do I Instagram this moment?
You should have, and his dad's not going to like it either as he tunes in this morning.
Oh, yeah, Larry.
Hello, Dan's dad in Wheaton this morning. Yes, that was your son.
Yeah, so I slowed down and I did see his hands on the steering wheel.
Yeah.
But he does carry, I do believe, too. So
which is the safe
deal
thing
with
to
that.
do.
So this morning, he might need some bail money. Because I did call him and said, uh-oh, is he going to let you out? Are you getting a warning or is this the real deal? And he said, this is the real deal, and I'm going to be late for work. I'm like, okay. But bail money for Dan, 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment anytime that you want. Have you ever gotten a speeding ticket?
Oh, many moons ago. Yeah, sure.
Right, but many decades ago, right? Because we grow up, we mature, and we don't put other people's lives at risk, right?
I can't. The last speeding ticket I received was in Columbus, Ohio.
Now, what were you doing?
I was probably doing like 60 and a 45. I was
bad boy Mike Scott here.
Bad boy, and it was for a Michigan man to get a ticket in Ohio. First of all, that's bad, but to get it in Columbus, Ohio, even worse.
Well, you didn't go to U of M.
I'm wearing that.
So at least you've got that going for you.
I
normally talk my way out of tickets. But living in the city, I don't normally get a lot of tickets because police officers don't care about the small stuff. They don't sweat
Usually
the small
not.
stuff if you're on your cell phone. You can even dangle a cell phone like, hey, pull me over. I'm on my cell phone. You could beg them to pull you over, and they won't because they have bigger fish to fry. So
they're taxed right now, and then of course there's the situation this morning with the off-duty officer being killed in that crash on the west side. So their attention is diverted.
What happened there?
It's another speeding situation, just like the River North incident yesterday, as Jim Telemonte was telling us, happened at Roosevelt and Costner. Police officer, one of the 2 who were killed. This is a 2-vehicle crash, and if you see video from it, you'll realize just how fast they were going. They were
But he was off duty.
Off duty. Cars are split apart. Was taken to Stroger Hospital, and there was a procession that came away from the ER at
And
Stroger.
did you see this girl who died in the crash that you mentioned yesterday in River North?
Right, Alejandra Damian.
Yeah, 21 years old of Joliet. Did you see the video? There's a surveillance shot.
Yep.
From Erie Street. I couldn't believe it. How anybody walked away from that? Did they catch the man that was driving her?
No, they're still searching for the gentleman who was driving.
He was in a 2009 Nissan Coupe, which I'm surprised they could even determine what kind of car it was because it was split in half and just charred remains were everywhere.
Yep. That's very similar. It's eerily similar to the video from the scene this morning.
Gosh, she was
minus the flames.
Yeah, DePaul University student. Happened at 1:30 in the morning. And then you see how fast he was going before impact. He must have been going 100 miles per hour.
Yeah, speed kills. And my nephew, who is a lieutenant in the police force in southern Illinois, always has this recommendation for family members. It's 9, you're fine, 10, you're mine. And says, look, I've been to more accidents. He's been to more distracted driving accidents recently with cell phones, but he's like speeding. He's like, it's the hardest thing to walk up on as a police officer, an accident with that involves speeding because there's always major damage. And you don't get over the sight of that first initial peak into the accident scene as a police officer. It sticks with you for a long time.
Well, the I-team over there at ABC7 learned that the owner of the car involved in the crash had loaned it to a friend earlier in the day. The owner of the Nissan GTR, who operates a Northwest Indiana car customizing company, said that his friend wanted to take the sports car to a charity car wash event in River North. The driver who borrowed the car and Damien then spent the day and evening visiting River North bars, according to sources familiar with the case. So I'm sure it's not if, it is when that they find this person. But again, the fact that they were able to to escape.
The hard part about
walk away.
Right. The hard part about that is if it was truly a tricked out Nissan GTR, it's probably something he's never handled before. It's a bit of a sports car, and it probably has acceleration and things that he's not used to, and he's never handled it before, and it handles differently than a Nissan Sentra. Trust me. And if it truly was a tricked out GTR, it's probably something he's never handled.
And if
before.
this segment wasn't enough to convince Dan Proft to slow down on his way to work, I don't know what will.
Normally I drive right around the speed limit.
We all make mistakes, miss. But 160?
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Coming up next, something you never want to hear a pilot say. But first, here's your forecast. Plenty of sunshine today, a high of 78 degrees. Pretty cool out there right now. It is 55 degrees. A lot of people are going to wear warmer clothes today, that's for sure. And then tomorrow, partly sunny with a gusty breeze. Warmer still, a high of 83. Let's get into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. With the latest on that double fatal crash, here is Jim Talamonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning again, Mike, as well. And once again, this morning we're starting with a major fatal crash, and this one's on Chicago's west side. Costner Avenue is still closed in both directions at Roosevelt. This happened after 1 o'clock this morning. The investigation is ongoing, and again, it's a major wreck. On the Stevenson Expressway, things look pretty good now. Overnight work has cleared near 355 on the outbound side, so traffic is moving freely outbound. Inbound getting a little congestion past Cicero. No big deal yet. We do have delays on the inbound Bishop Ford. Overnight work has cleared before the merge. Still looking at about a 6-minute delay. 21 minutes, 8094 to the Ryan. I-57, about a 2-minute delay from Halstead to the merge. The other expressways and tollways for now are looking good. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home? Then you need to do what I did and call David Hochberg, Vice President of Lending at Pro Mortgage. If you have student loans, listen up because David has great news. Fannie Mae recently loosened their lending rules to make it easier to refinance your student loan debt into your mortgage. This will enable homeowners with student loans to refinance their loans into a new mortgage and substantially lower your monthly payments. For example, the payment on a $100,000 in student loans is approximately $1,200 a month. Converting $100,000 of student loans into a 30-year fixed mortgage would lower the payment approximately $700 a month. Wow. It's never been easier to roll your student loans into your mortgage. So if you'd like to find out how you can refinance your student loans into your mortgage, pick up the phone and call David now, 312-751-1333, or visit am560david.com. David helped me and thousands of AM560 listeners, but he can't help you if you don't call. 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pro Mortgage and Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee 4358 NMLS 19186.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity, sponsored by upstream-ideas.com. In 2008, Barack Obama scaled Chicago's big government trafficking operation nationally. The nation got only a small taste of the damage Chicago's RICO-style governance inflicts. Illinois has not been so fortunate. The kleptocratic kingpins who run the city that works you over have relegated Illinois to the status of a cautionary tale as to how a poisonous government-centric culture turns the state into one giant Ponzi scheme. Politics pervades everything in Illinois. The result is that the nation's highest combined state and local tax burden has proven no match for the spending appetites of Pauls who've racked up $250 billion in debt while skipping out on more tabs than Leona Helmsley in her heyday. With collapse in the offing, the Sicarios for Illinois' political crime family seek a federal lifeline in the form of state bankruptcy. Congress should consider removing sovereign immunity protections to make an example of those who turned Illinois into the bad example. Of America's 50 laboratories of democracy, Illinois is the meth lab. If we want to prevent more states from getting hooked on junk governance, the Bernie Madoff treatment should be applied to those who cook the books in Illinois.
Message and data rates may apply. Please don't text while driving.
Did you know your organization's logo can do far more than you think?
Your logo carried my clothes to the gym.
Your logo kept my coffee warm all morning. Your logo charged my phone last night.
When the highly trained team at 4 Imprint put your logo on things people actually use, you'll be amazed at how powerful your logo can be. Not only will we unleash the full power of your logo, we'll show you the top 3 promotional items for driving new customers absolutely free. Text TEAM to 642-642 now. now. Every time your customers enjoy one of our promotional items with your logo, they'll think of you. Plus, with free art assistance, we'll make every item look fantastic for a great price. Satisfaction guaranteed.
Your logo keeps my laptop safe.
Your logo keeps me dry. Attract new customers, reward employees, and make a lasting impression. Discover the top 3 promotional items for free. Text TEAM to 642-642. That's TEAM to 642-642.
AM 560. The Answer.
Oh, look at you just got to work. So?
Well,
What?
No good deed goes unpunished. I compliment the state police yesterday. They pulled me over today. That's how merciless and unrelenting they are.
Hey, we need more revenue. So I suggested, just because I saw you blow by me and I was going to 80, I said that you were going, I predict about 110. Was I correct? Please approach the mic.
57.
Oh, you're
55.
No.
Why? No. It was in the Richard Dent territory. I'm lucky to be a free man this morning.
I thought they were going to take you in.
You know, I don't want to say anything that could incriminate me pending my appearance at Rolling Meadows Courthouse.
What day is that? I'm going to send the paparazzi.
It's still July 31st. If people would like to rally for my defense outside, Free Dan signs would be appreciated.
But he didn't clock you on the radar. He just assumed you were going 110.
I don't know. Again, this is for a court to decide, a jury of my peers, or at least a judge of my peers.
Yeah, are you going to request a bench trial or?
Yeah, I don't know that this will be protracted, but I have already scrambled my legal team, so they'll be out at the crime scene this morning, gathering evidence, figuring out what our best defense is going to be against the state.
Did you tell him you were carrying, and were you carrying at the time, or is that private?
I have a weapon in my trunk, but I didn't tell him that because.
Did you use your words and say, "Don't you know who I am"?
I did. I said, "Don't you know I know Amy Jacobson," and that was unpersuasive. I'm a friend of Amy, and
that's right.
So I tried to drop your name, but that didn't work. I knew the idea of dropping my name was going nowhere, so I didn't even try. I just said, "Yeah, I know I was speeding. I'm late for work."
Oh, and he didn't ask you where you work, or you didn't say, "I work at AM 560."
No,
the answer.
I didn't do the. I'm late for that radio show that I didn't.
That's
do
what
that.
I always say. That
I don't do that.
It works.
Yeah.
You've got to tell the truth. You're not lying, sir. Dan, you're just telling the truth.
I said
I've got to save lives, officer. I need to get to my conservatively based radio station.
My pro-police conservative. Yeah,
Don't you know a Senate health care bill looms? Don't you know that, officer?
He had an Eastern European accent, and that frightened me.
Oh,
so I thought it could have been worse than just a ticket if I.
Well, when I drove by, because I did drive by in the right-hand lane, because I watched you get pulled over, and I thought, I was going to take a picture for my Instagram, like, naughty bad boy Dan Proft gets in trouble. But you had
bad
your
boy
hands.
of conservative radio. How many times Prager's been pulled over by the state police?
I saw you had your hands on the wheel, so.
Yes.
You're compliant.
That's a serious thing. It's early in the morning. I mean, anytime, but I just, it's very bad.
Then I thought I looked in my rearview mirror. Hands up, don't shoot.
Right. Yeah.
Too soon. I'm sorry.
You thought I was getting tased, but no, just a citation.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, we have quite the show.
Our old friend Charles Thomas, he retired as the longtime political reporter for ABC 7 here in Chicago, but he's got a new outlet called the Chicago Drum, and it's specifically geared towards the black community in Chicago and trying to get black families to think differently about policy and politics in this city and state. So very interesting project. We're going to talk to him about it, get his take on what's going on in city and state government at 5:35.
And later, a vote this week would be a mistake. That's according to Senator Ron Johnson, who joins us at 8:38. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
56 degrees, clear skies this early morning in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the lifetime Advantage warranty. White House warning that the Syrian government will pay a heavy price if it carries out another chemical weapons attack. In a statement, the White House said this morning, Syrian President Bashar al-Assad's forces might be preparing for another chemical weapon attack. The Trump administration is disputing a report from the CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, who predicted 22 million people would lose insurance under a Senate GOP health insurance reform plan. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina scoffed at the number and wasn't all that impressed.
If you're on the fence, I'm not so sure this report helps you much.
In a statement, the White House says the CBO has proven it cannot accurately predict how health care legislation will impact insurance coverage. Democrats like Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon say it will be a disaster.
Here is a Republican health proposal that is going to hit millions of working people and seniors like a wrecking ball.
Senate Republican leaders hope to get a final vote on their Obamacare repeal and then the replacement bill by the end of the week. White House spokesman Sean Spicer says the president is pleased with the Supreme Court decision on an immigrant travel ban.
Part of it will be dependent on what the lawyers believe its impact will be in terms of how it goes forward and what we can do.
In a White House briefing yesterday, Spicer saying the president is confident about prevailing when the high court looks at the broader case in the fall. This morning, Brazil's attorney general is formally accusing the president of that country, Michael Temer, with corruption. First time a sitting president in Latin America's largest nation has faced criminal charges. The Attorney General, Rodrigo Janot's formal accusation is the latest salvo in an intensifying showdown between the president and the Brazilian Department of Justice as those officials build a case of corruption at the highest levels of that country. A new bill that would keep airlines from forcibly removing passengers is working its way through Congress. The proposal comes after United Airlines faced a backlash for having Chicago Aviation Police drag a man off an overbooked flight earlier this year. The bill would also privatize air traffic control. An off-duty Chicago police officer is one of two dead this morning following a two-vehicle crash on the west side. The accident happened early this morning near Roosevelt and Costner. Both victims died at the scene. The family of an Uber driver who was hacked to death by a teen last month in suburban Lincolnwood is suing Walmart. Grant Nelson's family filed suit in Cook County Court yesterday. The City Council Finance Committee is moving to lock in part of its phone tax increase, even if Governor Rauner follows through with a veto on a bill that raises the taxes for 911 services statewide. The committee approved a 7% monthly surcharge on prepaid cellular phones that would take effect even if there is a veto. Now, the governor opposes that bill that gives the cities power to raise 911 taxes because it contains a provision for a dramatic boost in Chicago's 911 tax to raise money to bail out one of the employee pension funds. Authorities continue searching for a young Chinese scholar who vanished from the University of Illinois now 3 weeks ago. She was headed out to sign an apartment lease, and it's led some parents of Chinese students studying at American universities to now question whether it's safe to send their children to study in the United States. Cubs escape with a 5-4 win over the Nationals. Yankees top the White Sox 6-5 in the first of a 4-game set in Chicago. Florida's Gators a win away from their first National College Baseball Championship after a Game 1 College World Series final win by the Gators over LSU. The news is a service of the CDC's Doing It HIV testing campaign. HIV doesn't have a face. It can happen to anyone, anytime. It's not just about you. It's about your community. What's important is that you get tested and tested regularly. Everyone does it to stay strong. Everyone's doing it. Are you? 5:32 is our time. Check of traffic and weather coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher wants the GOP to rally together.
You may be the first president in history to go down because you can't stop inappropriately talking about an investigation.
Well, no, he may be the first president to go down because he can't get fellow Republicans like you to support him. I don't know why this is so hard for Republicans to muster at least the pretense of support for a president who is under siege by the American media.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Right now with Galaxy, buy one cabinet, get one free. Visit us online at galaxyhome.com to schedule your free in-home estimate. Save an additional $500 when you book right now.
If you have pain, listen up, Dennis Prager here. You don't need to live in pain. Let me repeat that. You don't have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, whether it's from an accident or pain that just develops. So Chicagoland, you're in luck. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the nation's most respected and successful pain doctors. He's been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Bottom line, he's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off pain medication and all of its side effects. How? By finding the source of your chronic pain and fixing it.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. Let's make you pain-free.
Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain, and you can be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info you need at mypainchicago.com.
5:34. Let's check the roads this morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamati.
Thanks, Mike. Things look clear on the Edens right now. The Kennedy is fine. Express lane's open inbound. Eisenhower is a brief delay inbound. Manheim to 25th. 30 minutes Thorndale to downtown. Outbound fine at 29. Inbound Stevenson delays start at Central Avenue. 41 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound fine at 34. On Ryan, 19 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both 25 minutes from I-80 to the merge. Lakeshore Drive is fine. No delays to report on the tollways right now. No delays to report on I-80 or Northwest Indiana. On the west side, Costner is still closed in Roosevelt and 13th for ongoing investigation of that overnight wreck. Traffic also is a service of CDC's doing an HIV testing campaign. Everyone's doing it. Everyone is testing for HIV. Lead by example. Knowing your HIV status allows you to stay healthy. It's fast, free, and confidential. Make HIV testing part of your routine. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. A pleasant day ahead, high 78, clear and 59 overnight. Gusty breeze tomorrow, high 83, 69 for an overnight low. Thursday, clouds move in, more humid, maybe a shower or thunderstorm, high 83, and heavier showers and storms for Friday, and a high of 78. Currently 53 at O'Hare, 58 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 6, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth. Tune in Saturday afternoons at 2 for Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth.
Hey, Joe Walsh here. I am not anti-immigrant. I am anti-illegal. There's a big difference, a really big difference. We'll talk about it when Freedom returns at 5.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And so I know we've got a lot to talk about with respect to the Supreme Court and Obamacare replacement, but let's keep it local because our old friend Charles Thomas, you know him as a longtime political reporter for ABC7 in Chicago. He has launched a new outlet called the Chicago Drum. The Chicago Drum, like, beating the drum. It's chicagodrum.com. The tagline, inspiring Chicago's black community with restored hope, renewed spirit, and rediscovered opportunities. And we're pleased to have Charles Thomas join us now to talk a little bit about his new project. Charles, thanks for being with us.
Hey, Dan. Good hearing your voice again, man. Good morning, Amy.
Hi.
So I thought you were just going to fish and play golf in retirement, but no. Lo and behold, you've got the Chicago Drum that you've launched. Give us the rationale for it and what the Chicago Drum aims to offer in terms of content that's specifically geared towards the black community in Chicago.
Well, I left Chicago. I left ABC7 to do this project, basically. I mean, they wanted me to stay, but I've been thinking about this for the last several years and have been putting a lot in place to do it. And it's essentially what we want to do at the Drum is to change the narrative regarding the black community. First, understand that the black community is no longer focused on the south and west sides of Chicago, that African Americans are spread all about this this area. In fact, most African Americans in the Chicago region, 1.3 million, live in the suburbs. They live in Proviso Township, Thornton Township, and the south suburbs. Proviso, of course, is in the west. Rich, Bloom Townships. These are suburban people, homeowners, who basically are being left out of the coverage. I mean, what we hear a lot about in the mainstream media, Pookie shot Ray Ray, and all the dysfunction that happens in these hardcore inner-city neighborhoods, when in fact the black middle class has abandoned those neighborhoods. And they have different concerns, things that they do, that they talk about, political issues and such. So we want to shift the focus, change the narrative of the black community, and basically show it for what it is. Secondly, maybe primarily, we want to change the political paradigm in the black community. A lot of the concerns of black people are not social programs. We care about property taxes too, but our political leadership doesn't express that.
Well,
I think what we are going to do, one of the things that the drum will do, is hold our black elected officials accountable to black people, the main body politic of the black community. And these are two of the principal purposes of this project. We want to make black people honest brokers of their own political power. This business of going out there and voting 95% Democrat all the time has got to stop. We have to begin to look at candidates for what they offer our communities. For instance, when the governor talks about a property tax freeze, black homeowners, they support that. But you never believe that by looking at what some of the political rhetoric that we hear from our black elected officials. So these are some of the issues that we will mine at the ChicagoDrum.com.
So, Charles, do you think the African-American community and communities, whether they're in the city or in the suburbs, have been brainwashed by the Democratic Party?
The Democratic Party, I think, in the 1960s served the black community, given the Lyndon Johnson Goldwater race, if you remember that one. If you're old enough. I am, fortunately, old enough to remember that. And then on through the 1980s, when a civil rights leader like the Reverend Jesse Jackson became a Democrat, he sort of sealed the deal at that point. But the Democratic Party over the past 30 years has not served black people well. If you look, particularly here in Illinois, where African Americans have the highest black unemployment rate in the country. In the country. We beat all the southern states, the old legacy slave states. Our black unemployment rate is the highest in the country. So how does this happen when we have, by the way, more black elected officials than any state in the country? And they're all Democrats, by the way.
Really? I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah, we have more black elected officials in Illinois than any state in the country, including California.
Well, and it seems to me, going back to something you said just a minute ago, Charles, about holding those elected officials of whom you speak accountable. So the question is, you have more black elected officials than any state in the country. You have the black community voting in lockstep with the Democrats. So how's it working out? Accountability to me is less by, so vote Republican instead. Accountability is just the people in office. Are your interests being advanced? Are things getting better for you, or are things getting worse? And why is it so difficult to put that calculus to black families in Chicago and Chicagoland?
I don't think it is. I mean, I think what we need is a voice. We need to give voice to the people, because the people haven't had the voice. What you have are elected officials who are financed by the Democratic Party, who are speaking on behalf of African American voters, when in fact they don't really express what people feel. If you go out there and you ask people about, for instance, their property taxes, a homeowner in the south suburbs, which pay the highest property taxes in the region, Ask them what they think about a property tax freeze, and they'll tell you.
But here's the thing that
they support it.
Right,
but how do you?
It's going back to your project, the Chicago Drum. So how do you essentially broaden that perspective? Because part of the problem, and this is a great rationale for your outlet, is those black families or black individuals who support school choice or who support property tax freeze.
Another issue.
Yeah, but they're never elevated in the Chicago press corps, or it's much like D.C.
Exactly.
They're not allowed.
Never give them voice.
Yeah, they're not.
Never give them voice.
Right, and so is that it's going to be telling their stories, providing that perspective, trying to get people to think differently.
Absolutely. You give voice to those people instead of always going to those who are dependent on social programs. You go to those who actually pay taxes, and you talk to them about what they think. And that it seems subtle, but it's very powerful, because when you give voice to those people, then you understand that the narrative has to change, because, again, they're hearing each other and they hear the support that you get from hearing other voices like yours. And I think that's what's missing in this marketplace. But let me tell you something, Dan. You know the people I believe who are most resistant to this idea?
The politicians?
White liberals.
Oh, that too. Absolutely.
Oh my God. They know that if the Democrats in the state do not receive 95% of the black vote, this state goes red. They get that. They know that. So they want this sleepwalking on the part of black voters. They are encouraging it. This project scares the living hell out of them.
Well, here's the other reason why I think it does, is because, let's just be real here. Black families, for Champaign socialists, liberals on the lakefront and the North Shore, they're mascots for them. That's who they use to virtue signal.
Absolutely.
And so the worst thing that could happen is for black families to be independent of the government.
Absolutely. Because then what do you have? And then you have this mass exodus of black people from Illinois. They're leaving not only the city, they're leaving the state. They're going elsewhere. And that's documented. In fact, we've seen stories about that over the past several weeks here in Chicago, the mass exodus of blacks from the city and from the suburbs moving to other states. And where are they going? They're going to right-to-work states. Give me a break. Come on. What's going on? I mean, these people are voting with their feet. Now, you tell me, if I tap into that sentiment and tell that story from an individual basis, why are you leaving? What's going on? What did you find in Texas? What did you find in Tennessee? Why are you moving there? What's going on? Ask those people to tell those stories. That's what the mainstream media in Chicago is not doing. And then one other point, which I should make here. Prior to this project, prior to me leaving Channel 7, everybody wanted me to be on Chicago Tonight. The liberal cafe.
Yeah, WTTW.
Well, Matt talking to Winnetka.
Right, but now that they see that I have a different point of view.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
What's up?
No longer in the club?
You don't see your boy anywhere anymore, right? Not that I care. I really don't care about
No,
that.
but your voice needs to be heard, Charles.
Yeah, but it's a good point.
But
That's a good
nobody
point.
wants to hear this voice.
That's right.
Nobody wants to hear a voice that goes against the traditional liberal democratic orthodoxy. They don't want to hear that voice. But that's what the drum will do. We will give voice to a different point of view within the black community. And I'm not saying that the Democrats can't come around and do the right thing and hey, maybe Democrats are where you need to be. I don't know. But we're going to call them out. I mean, they're doing things like we had I got to mention this, but I'm on a competing radio program in the morning.
Yeah, that's all right.
But we had J.B. Pritzker come in one morning, the leading candidate, and he comes in one morning and he starts to brag about how he just got the endorsement of the Building Trades Council. Well, we asked him, he said, the Building Trades Council? You mean the unions, construction trade unions, the guys that don't hire black people? You're coming in here to this and telling us that this is a good thing? This is one reason we should vote for you?
Oh, my. What'd he say?
You know,
He called his Uncle
Schmales.
Schmales.
He looked at me like, whoa, what is this? And then his people who were there with him, they looked at him like, whoa, what's this about? What's this about? But that black people are outraged by the fact that the building trades in this city do not hire them. You look at any project downtown, you don't see any black folks, but they're a big part of that Democratic Party coalition. We're supposed to celebrate that? Come on.
This is going to be fun. Your project, the Chicago Drum. I mean, not just fun but purposeful, telling voices that don't get an audience, stories that aren't being told by the Chicago press corps, such as it is, and from somebody who was a esteemed member of it right until he retired and started this project. The ChicagoDrum.com. Charles Thomas. Yeah, it's great. No, I mean, we're looking forward. We're going to be following it. I'm looking forward to reading this routinely and helping to amplify the stories you're telling.
And we'll have you come on again.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
All right. Now that
I'll keep you posted, guys.
All right. Now that we've done all your show prep for you, go do your show.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Charles.
Bye now.
Appreciate it.
Bye. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Dana Lash with NRA Carry Guard. I carry my firearm every day. I pray I'll never be forced to use it. But if I do, I know NRA Carry Guard will have my back. I can choose up to $1 million in insurance-backed protection, plus a special attorney referral network to give me the representation I need. Learn more and sign up today at nracarry.com or call 1-866-NRA-1234 to become an NRA Carry Guard member today.
Ransomware is software that can infiltrate your business through email, enabling cyber criminals to hijack sensitive information as ransom for your own data's release. Leveraging Barracuda email security with advanced threat detection can stop a ransomware attack in its tracks. As an added measure, Barracuda Backup allows you to recover your data without having to surrender to extortion. Crime doesn't pay when you protect your business data with Barracuda. Go to barracuda.com/ransomware to learn more.
When a local manufacturer suffered an employee accident at their factory, McPherson Public Affairs Group was called in to handle crisis communications with the media, the general public, and the manufacturer's employees. When a local unit of government needed assistance in pushing a significant regional highway issue forward, McPherson Public Affairs Group was called in to manage the public, media, and legislative outreach campaign. When national trade associations and corporations need public outreach and communications campaigns in Illinois and throughout the Midwest, they count on McPherson Public Affairs Group to get the job done. McPherson Public Affairs Group is a full-service public affairs and public relations firm based in LaGrange, Illinois. They'll work with you to create a strategy and see it through. Contact them for a free consultation when you face public relations challenges or need media and spokesperson training for your executive team. 312-882-2473 or on the web at McPhersonPublicAffairs.com.
Acme Home Insurance.
Yes, I'd like to make a claim.
What are you wanting to claim, sir?
My air conditioner broke down.
Sorry, but your home insurance doesn't cover air conditioner breakdowns.
So what do you cover?
Home damage from things like earthquakes, volcanoes, a zombie apocalypse.
A zombie apocalypse? But that'll never happen.
But if it did, you'd be covered, sir.
But not my air conditioner?
I'm afraid not.
But his air conditioner could have been covered with a home warranty from American Home Shield, plus major components of 20 other home systems and appliances, like his electrical system, plumbing, refrigerator, and more. For valuable free information, call 1-800-700-2119. Homeowners insurance can cover what might happen.
Zombies are coming!
But a home warranty helps cover what will happen.
Now the dryer won't work.
Be sure with the Shield. American Home Shield. For valuable free information, call 1-800-700-2119. That's 1-800-700-2119. 1-800-700-2119.
You are about to hear from Dr. Douglas Howard. After 20 years and tens of thousands of success stories, Balance of Nature is still the only pure whole food supplement available. Balance of Nature has served more than 500 million servings of fruits and vegetables. Don't accept imitations, copies, or substitutions. Our success stories are unique to Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. You'll know you have the real thing when you open the bottles and see, smell, and taste real produce.
It is worth every penny I pay because they really have made such a difference in my life. It is making me feel a whole lot better.
Even my doctor thought it was a good product.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you for free. Call now for details.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code CHICAGO.
Hi, this is Jeff from Basement Flood Protector. Finishing a basement requires a tremendous amount of time and money, transforming concrete walls into living space better suited for children playing, friends watching football, or just hanging out. But how many of you made the investment in a sump pump system that ensures the protection of your new living space in the event of heavy rains, mechanical failures, and power outages? You went from concrete to carpet, maybe concrete to hardwood, and in the event of a flood, you're going to go from squeegee to replacing floors. However, by joining our network of 25,000 customers, you will enjoy the same peace of mind knowing your basement is safe regardless of weather conditions because of early warning mechanisms and simply having equipment that just works as expected. We are Basement Flood Protector. Protecting homes from flooding is all we do. I invite you to call today at 800-238-0822 or visit don'tflood.com to learn more and for no-nonsense pricing. That's 800-238-0822 or don'tflood.com. Use the call letters of this station for a 5% discount.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, Doctors Economos, Gavalis, Joshi, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology, such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930. That's 630-830-4930. Or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
Message and data rates may apply.
Have you ever forgotten your password? With all the accounts you have and all the rules around passwords, remembering every single one is impossible. That's why millions of people are turning to Dashlane, the award-winning app that protects your passwords and creates an easy, secure way to access all of your accounts. And right now, you can get access to Dashlane free for life on your favorite device just by texting SECURE to 543-543. Over 6 million users manage their passwords with Dashlane. Over 6,000 companies trust Dashlane. And over 70,000 reviews give it a 5-star rating. But the only number that really matters? 0. Because that's how many times you'll forget your passwords using Dashlane. With Dashlane, your passwords are never misplaced and never forgotten. Simple, safe, secure. Unlock free access to Dashlane on your favorite device for life right now. Just text SECURE to 543-543. That's SECURE to 543-543.
5:57 and a check of the roads. The Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On Chicago's west side, Costner Avenue remains closed between Roosevelt and 13th after a major overnight wreck. The Edens is clear. Kennedy inbound, heavy out of the River Road toll to Canfield. 22 minutes O'Hare to downtown, outbound 23. Slow Bryn Mawr to Sayre. Westbound 190, a little slow. River Road to the Tri-State. Bella Eisenhower, stop and go. Wolf to Des Plaines Avenue. 43 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 5 at 29. Inbound Stevenson, heavy early, 55 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound it's fine. Ryan, 24 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 24 minutes. I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford, 17. Traffic is a service of CDC's doing an HIV testing campaign. HIV doesn't have a face. It can happen to anyone, anytime. It only takes one time. It's not just about you. It's about your community. What's important is you get tested regularly. Everyone does it to stay strong. Everyone's doing it. Are you? Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business. since 1935. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
A sunny day today, high 77, clear night of 59. Partly sunny with a gusty breeze tomorrow, high 83. Then mostly cloudy and breezy tomorrow night. Watch for severe thunderstorm in the evening, which could bring flash flooding and damaging winds, low 69. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
53 at O'Hare, 58 along the lake. The news service of Jewel Osco hit the road with Jewel Osco and Shell now through June 27th. Earn 4 times gas reward points on selected items. Redeem your rewards for up to 20 cents off per gallon at participating locations. Other restrictions and exclusions apply. Go to jewelosco.com for more details. 5:59 in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Here are the stories we're following at this hour. White House warning that the Syrian government will pay a heavy price if it carries out another chemical weapons attack. Fox News with the latest on that developing story. An off-duty Chicago police officer is one of 2 dead from a 2-vehicle crash on the west side. It happened early this morning near Roosevelt and Costner. In Springfield, the House Republican leader says he's ready to negotiate on Speaker Michael Madigan's new budget demands. Mayor Emanuel talking with billionaire Elon Musk about the possibility of building a high-speed rail line between downtown Chicago and O'Hare. Cubs escape with a win over the Nationals 5-4. Yankees top the White Sox 6-5. More Dan and Amy after Fox News. WIND Chicago News Time 6.
A warning to Syria. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, and it came from the White House last night. Use chemical weapons again, and there will be a price to pay. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, Press Secretary Sean Spicer says there's evidence President Bashar Assad is planning another chemical attack on his own people, similar to one in April that killed dozens of people, including children. The Pentagon launched an airstrike after that attack. The White House offered no further details on what prompted this warning, which reportedly caught officials at the State Department and other agencies off guard. The AP is reporting the administration has intelligence that Syria is mixing chemicals for a possible sarin gas attack. Dave.
Rachel, a Syrian minister has just dismissed the allegations, saying they have not and will not use chemical weapons. Syrian activists are claiming an airstrike has hit a jail operated by ISIS, killing at least 42 prisoners in Syria. The U.S. is getting ready to enforce President Trump's travel ban later this week after the Supreme Court partially unblocked his executive order restricting travel from 6 predominantly Muslim countries deemed terror threats. Hawaii Attorney General Doug Chin had argued it's a Muslim ban.
What's to stop him from saying that about, a country in Asia or in Central America or South America?
Now, the court's going to review the case in the fall. Democrats rallied outside the Senate last night against the Republican plan to replace Obamacare.
This has been the lowest point for all of us in our career. That we would see in the Senate a bill come that is so craven, that is so cruel.
Senator Cory Booker. Republican leaders are still trying to get 5 GOP senators who oppose the bill to support it. A Congressional Budget Office analysis says it would cut $321 billion from the deficit over 10 years, but 22 million more Americans would no longer have health insurance. Google's being fined by European Union regulators $2.72 billion, accusing the internet giant of breaching antitrust rules using its search engine to boost its shopping service. Google says it just packages results to make it easier for consumers. Fox News, fair and balanced.
It's become a summer tradition. Rockin' for the Troops returns this summer on July 22nd at Northwestern Medicine Field, home of the Kane County Cougars. This year's headliners, Rock and Roll Hall of Famers, Leonard Skinnard. Also appearing, The Voices, Ayla Brown, and The Empty Pockets. Proceeds will benefit Operation Support Our Troops America. Get your tickets today at rockinforthetroops.org. That's rockinforthetroops.org.
With Quicken Loans, the outdated and complicated mortgage process is a thing of the past. Our simple process helps you understand all the details so you can be confident that you're getting the right mortgage. Take your mortgage to the next level and call 800-QUICKEN or go completely online with Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. No matter how you prefer to work with us, we've got what you need to get you through the mortgage process with ease. For 7 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. destination. And for the third year in a row, they also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. Whether you're looking to purchase or refinance, now is the time. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.875%, APR 4.23%. Call 800-QUICKEN or get started online at rocketmortgage.com. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
I hate cleaning my gutters. I kept hearing ads for that gutter guard system, so I thought, why not? I'll get an estimate. I was shocked. I never thought gutter guards could cost so much. Then I heard about Spring Rock gutter guards. The estimate is free, so it made sense to at least compare them. I was shocked again by how much money they saved me. I'm talking thousands, like enough to take my family to Disney World. They take a different approach to gutter protection. A completely closed design keeps all types of debris out of your gutters. Sure, those higher-priced systems may keep the leaves out, but Spring Rock gets the job done at up to half the price with no compromise on quality. Spring Rock also comes with the same lifetime warranty. If the gutter system ever clogs, they will clean it out for free, no questions asked. Same result for less money. That's smart. There's more than one option when it comes to gutter guards. Compare today and save at springrockgutters.com or call 708-571-0632. Special financing is available. Drain your gutters, not your wallet.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business and jobs powered by Tandem HR. Heard Sunday evenings at 6.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. The number 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. The prospect of a Senate vote on Obamacare replacement is dimming a Senate vote before this weekend, which Mitch McConnell had originally suggested would happen Thursday or Friday. We're going to talk to Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin in the 8 o'clock hour.
Yeah, and basically, he said a vote this week would be a huge mistake.
Well, there's, this is, again, playing out very much like what played out in the House. You've got some conservative opposition, you've got some moderate opposition, or at least concern, and can it all be pulled together in the span of the next 48 or 72 hours? Maybe not, but they are on the clock, and now into the conversation is the CBO's scoring of the proposed Obamacare replacement, saying that it would increase the number of uninsured by 22 million by 2026.
And 15 million of that 22 million will lose insurance because individual mandates will go away. But then you had this morning, then you had the Wall Street.
Well, that would just full stop there. That's sort of important.
Kind of. Yeah.
Because they're choosing not to purchase health insurance. Nobody who desires health insurance is being kicked off. They are choosing, because of the lack of government force, not to purchase health insurance, as predicted by the CBO.
Exactly.
Yeah, as predicted by the CBO, who was off by 24 million when it came to the number of people who would be insured after Obamacare's implementation.
Right. But still, you have the ladies, Lindsey Graham and John McCain.
If you're on the fence, I'm not so sure this report helps you much.
Obviously, it's not good news, and so it'll have to be a factor.
So they believe the CBO report. I'm still on the fence about the CBO report.
Well, let me see if I can get you off the fence.
But I think you're going to convince me otherwise.
The Obamacare, the CBO overestimated marketplace enrollment by 30% and marketplace costs by 28%, while it underestimated Medicaid enrollment by about 14%.
Oh.
Those are what we call rounding errors in government, but
Don't let the truth get in the way of a good story, Dan.
Those are pretty suspect predictions or forecasting by the CBO, which is not uncommon. The Commonwealth Fund is the one who did this analysis, by the way, on the CBO scoring. Here's the thing. Dr. Tom Price, the HHS secretary, was at the Aspen Institute. He did a sit-down interview with Jeffrey Goldberg from The Atlantic to talk about Obamacare replacement over the weekend. And he said, well, the CBO is not very good at dynamic scoring. They're pretty good at projecting how much something's going to cost, but not pretty good at predicting human behavior, that the dynamic scoring. Well, actually, I'd qualify what Dr. Price said and say they're not very good at either. They're not very good at either. And by the way, the federal government never has been. Just in the same space, as I've recounted before, when Medicare was first introduced and passed into law in the mid-'60s, the projection was by the federal government that by 1990, 25 years later, Medicare would cost $3 billion. I'm sorry, it started out at $3 billion. The $3 billion cost when it was passed. By 1990, it was going to cost $10 billion.
Okay.
$10 billion. That's what the government predicted 25 years down the road. By 1990, the actual cost was $110 billion.
Whew.
So, you're off by a factor of 11, which is not as bad as the CBO scoring, but it's indicative of how loosey-goosey government forecasting is and how much weight you should put on CBO scoring in making a policy decision that has implications on philosophical principles like freedom versus order, personal accountability. Is this a government role, particularly the individual mandate component? And then the underlying impacts of the policy on things like premiums and deductibles, accessibility, portability, quality indicators as well. I mean, those are real things. So politicians that use the CBO score, particularly Republicans, as the basis for opposing, well, they're not being very genuine, are they? Because they know or should know the history of CBO scoring. They're using that as a crutch. Now, just so you understand what you're getting from the left, and this is the kind of rhetoric that frightens timid children like McCain and Graham. Listen to me.
The ladies. I call them the ladies. They're girlfriends.
Yeah, okay.
No, really, they are. They hang out. They travel together.
Well, let's hear from an actual lady. She's a Hawaii United States Senator, Mazie Hirano, who said this. This was on the Supreme Court's decision. Senator Markey, Ed Markey, who is also being believed transitioning, so that's close. He on Obamacare replace.
I'm disappointed that the court just didn't rule that.
Oh, no, I got that wrong, too. I'm sorry. I'm still scrambled from my run-in with the law this morning.
Early morning arrest and takedown?
That's right. All right, Verlin on the south side. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Rescue us.
How you doing, Dan? How you doing, Amy?
Hey, Verlin.
And Dan, I'm going to be the first one to give you a donation for that ticket.
Oh, for my legal defense fund?
Thank you. I try to raise money for you.
The legal defense fund?
Telethon. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you, Verlin.
That's right. Now, I'm going to say, I got two quick things to say. Well, one quick thing to say, and the other one is a serious thing to say. Now, the first quick thing I got to say is thank God for giving the Supreme Court the wisdom to uphold Donald Trump's right given by the Constitution in Article 1 of the Constitution of keeping the American people safe. That's what I wanted to say first. Number two, I want to say to these 4 to 5 senators, get off of it. Rand Paul, I would have voted for you to be president in a heartbeat, but you are making Ted Cruz's grandstanding look like novice play. Okay? Get off of it and vote. Lisa Murkowski, back in my more moderate days, I would have voted for you to be the first woman to be president of the United States. But you're sounding like a bleeding heart liberal right now about this Medicare and people going to suffer and this, that, and the other.
Well, actually,
get off of it.
Murkowski told CNN this morning or late last night that she just wants to review it more. She needs more time to look at it. 142 pages. I don't know if she's halfway through, but she didn't rule it out yet.
I saw her talking, and she looked like she was almost crying on TV. She sounds like a liberal, talking about people going to suffer with the Medicare. It's going to be taken from people and this, that, and the other. We all know that there's a lot of able-bodied people that's on Medicare claiming falsehoods that could be out there working and contributing to society, and we all know that.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Verlin. Appreciate it, as well as for your commitment to my legal defense fund. I appreciate that, too. George,
how much was that ticket, by the way?
It's pending.
Oh.
That'll be adjudicated in a court of law.
Well, you don't stand to lose your license, do you? Or is this too soon to?
I have to confer with counsel on the topic
Mhm.
before I can answer that question.
Because I'm not picking you up for work. I'll honk the horn and
Yeah.
the hoopty. Come on, Dan,
how
get
do you-
into the granny mobile.
How do you feel about
minivan.
how do you feel about carpooling? Jordan in Forest Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I'd like somebody to ask the CBO what would be the number of people losing insurance if the insurance companies could immediately go back to medical underwriting and provide whatever plans are available, high-cost plans, low-cost plans, plans that include maternity coverage, plans that didn't. And I think you'd get a response back to them that said that would actually help people get back on the insurance. Because, I think what's happened is the 80% of the people that had coverage prior to 2014, when the medical underwriting was no longer done, is that they were generally healthy people, and those people have been hurt the most by the Affordable Care Act, and even those people are now beginning to drop their coverage. If you went back to this, you would get a huge number of people that would have a big relief in their premiums, and that would, in my mind, that would be one of the biggest tax cuts that they could actually do. But nobody wants to do this. Ted Cruz and a few others have said we got to get the premiums down, but it's not the focus. It's not the focus, and that's really the problem.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Jordan. There's an interesting piece by James Freeman, who does Best of the Web today over at the Wall Street Journal. Why didn't Obamacare make us healthier? He talks about Bernie Sanders' demagoguery on the topic, and he writes, the basic Sanders argument is that fewer people on government insurance plans will mean more dying. It seems likely that any reform plan that makes it to the president's desk will no longer force people to buy Obamacare plans, will give the state some flexibility in choosing not to provide insurance to people who aren't sick, aren't poor, don't have children. But will fewer people on government-mandated insurance plans automatically make them less healthy? That's what Sanders is arguing. And he says study after study makes this point. It's common sense. And actually, that's not. Freeman goes on to explain that since America has been participating in this experiment since 2020 to see if the effort to extend government-mandated insurance can improve our lives, let's actually look at it. In December of last year, New York Times was among many outlets that had to share this embarrassing news.
What?
American life expectancy is in decline for the first time since 1993, when HIV-related deaths were at their peak.
You mean we're all going to die at some time in our life?
Yeah, but
sooner rather than later?
Which direction life expectancy is going is a reflection of the general health of the population, so it's relevant.
We're all getting HIV tests here tomorrow.
Yeah, but that's referring to HIV. It's not because of HIV at present. Researchers can't identify a single problem driving the drop. They're instead pointing to a number of factors from heart disease to suicides that have caused a great number of deaths. So one thing researchers agree on is there have been a deterioration in the health of middle-income whites. And so, again, as a general answer to the question of has Obamacare made America healthier, the answer, based on just referencing life expectancy rates, is no.
No.
So government-forced insurance plans there's no salvation to it. There's no magic to it.
And think about all those people who are at teaching hospitals at Northwestern, University of Chicago, Rush, who had to leave because Obamacare did not cover. If you went to a teaching hospital, it wouldn't cover you. So you had to go to other places, Thoric Hospital, St. Francis, and people were eventually going to die, but they died 6 to 12 months earlier than they were supposed to because they weren't receiving the best care possible that's out there.
The thing is, this is, just something that happens with all of these big government gambits. People say, well, there's a government program, so we assume it's effective. Why would you assume that?
Assumption is the mother of all screw-ups.
Well, but thank you for that.
You're welcome, Dan.
Yes,
Quotes by Amy Jacobson.
Yes, you've been reviewing Poor Richard's Almanac and the like. Just think this through logically. Most Americans have very little faith in the government, very little faith in the government to do big things, have very little respect for government employees, with the exception of men and women in the military, certainly not politicians. But yet you put implicit faith that because politicians create some system, that centrally planned system by definition, that it necessarily is going to help, that it's beyond possibility that it could actually have a negative effect on the intended beneficiaries. That's unfathomable, that a government program designed to help people could in fact actually hurt the people it's designed to help. Except you see it play out in real time over and over and over again. Study out this week on Seattle's minimum wage law.
Oh, yeah.
Guess what it finds? The intended beneficiaries of the wage increase have seen their hourly rates go up by force, by government price setting, but their take-home pay has declined $125 a month, which is not insignificant for somebody that's a minimum wage employee.
Why?
Because fewer hours. People responded to the mandate that was beyond their ability to pay, at least pay given certain hours. So now you got to mandate certain hours, I suppose, too. So now you have, and by the way, the idea that government programs, of government price setting in particular, creates externalities. Boy, no one could have predicted that except anyone who's passed an Econ 101 course. And yet you have all of this hand-wringing going on in the left, including by, there's a columnist over at 538 writing about how, surprised by the outcomes. Oh, boy, so the mystics in Congress or in a particular federal bureaucracy or in state government, for that matter, they don't know how to perfectly calibrate all the dials and switches and buttons to operate people's interactions more efficiently, not to mention morally, than people operate their own interactions on a persuasive basis rather than a coercive one. That's at the core of this entire health insurance debate. I think people just need to go back to first principles and think through this. Make sure they attribute the healthy skepticism they have for government in general to specific government gambits. Ralph and Rantoul, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, good morning. You're talking about going back to first principles. The first principles in healthcare for decades and decades has always been excellence in acute care. So if something happens, you get excellent acute care, the problem is resolved. But what ACA is really pushing at is a move away from excellence in acute care to this population health theory, which is, if you can do smear and push medicine with your particular brand of politics behind it, you can improve population health. This is a big raging debate in the medical community. And, when you talk about let's take a look at things, well, the phrase that's used in the healthcare community is evidence-based medicine, which means in God we trust, everybody else bring data, all right? The data is not supporting it. But what we're seeing with ACA and the big push now is really it's this argument, this philosophy. It's acute care, excellence in acute care replicated by the millions across the entire population. Does that do a better job of increasing overall health in people, or is it this push towards population health, which is we're going to tell people what they have to do, where they have to go. We're going to spend millions of dollars on marketing medicine to people, right? And that's going to improve the overall population. I can tell. I tried to tell my dad to stop smoking for 40 years. You know what did it finally? When he fell on the floor and he had the big grabber that almost killed him. That's what scared him off the cigarettes. It was no marketing.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Ralph. Appreciate it.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Coming up next, he's always controversial. John McEnroe smacking down Serena Williams, and she responds, and now I want them to have a tennis match. But first, here's your forecast. Plenty of sunshine today, a high of 78 degrees. And then tonight, a low of 59. And for tomorrow, it'll be partly sunny with a gusty breeze, a high of 83 degrees. Let's get into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Good morning. Good morning, Dan. West side of Chicago, Costner Avenue remains closed between Roosevelt and 13th after a major overnight wreck. The investigation is ongoing. Eden's inbound. Little tight Foster to the junction. 20 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 19. Kennedy. 26 minutes, so O'Hare to downtown, outbound 27. Westbound 190 is heavy from the Kennedy to the Tri-State. In Von Eisenhower, delays start at Wolf Road, 50 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, outbound 34. Stevenson, 56 minutes, 355 to the drive, outbound 35. Orion is 25 minutes from 95th to the Loop, I-57. 27 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop 4 to 17. Tri-State southbound heavy, 75th to the 82nd Street Toll. Right lane is blocked. There's a semi that has a problem with its load there. Northbound delays are from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
It takes a lot of courage to face your own death, but I'm glad I finally did. See, I was putting off getting life insurance to protect my family, even though I knew it was important. Then my neighbor's husband died. I watched her struggle emotionally and financially. It really made me face reality. If my husband died, how would I pay the mortgage, the car payments, or keep up the life the kids and I had? I realized I needed to get us life insurance right away. So I called AIG Direct. In less than 5 minutes, I had a quote. I was shocked at how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. I feel so much better knowing my family has protection.
Call AIG Direct right now for a free no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you can save up to 70%. Call now, 1-800-900-1904. That's 1-800-900-1904. 1-800-900-1904.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Do you know your bank's fraud tolerance? I'm Ann Dollagall, Treasury Management Executive. At Signature Bank, we have zero tolerance. While some of the big banks may write off smaller incidences of fraud, we use a multi-layered approach to fight fraud before it happens to our customers. There's been a record number of businesses hit with payments fraud this year. Keeping your business assets safe is our top priority. We are trained, and we will train you to recognize potential wire fraud threats and business email compromise scams. Call us today to find out how Signature Bank can work with your business to fight fraud.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You need to switch your cell phone service to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile was founded to support conservative causes while providing the same great nationwide cell phone coverage that you're already used to enjoying. Patriot Mobile allows you to donate up to 5% of your monthly bill to the conservative organization of your choice at no extra cost to you. Do what I'm doing. Do like me. Switch to Patriot Mobile and support the conservative agenda. Switch today and get a free iPhone with a $50 unlimited talk, text, and data plan, or a free Galaxy phone with a $45 unlimited talk, text, and data plan. They will also buy out your current contract up to $500 per line. There's no catch. Call 800-A-PATRIOT, and Patriot Mobile will even waive your activation fee with promo code Joe. Or go to patriotmobile.com/Joe.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I've been on vitamins, I've been on all kinds of supplements, but nothing has come close to your product. The difference between before I started the product and afterwards is like night and day. I do have more energy, and that was what I really was after. I get all these benefits. It's wonderful. I had no energy at all, and I thought, how can I live this way? I do one little chore, and then I have to sit and rest. And I find that I get through the day pretty well, and I really have more energy. I look in the mirror and I say, I think I feel more alive. I think I look more alive.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you free. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
AM 560.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Oh, yeah. We got a showdown here. John McEnroe, you remember him. Remember
Yes.
him? Who can? 7-time Grand Slam winner. Well, he was on NPR yesterday.
McEnroe, Connors, McEnroe, Borg. That was when...
that was great.
That was like the golden era of men's tennis.
Wasn't it wonderful?
Yeah.
Well, now that there's all this gender neutrality.
Especially since I have the same attitude as McEnroe.
You are a little bit of a McEnroe.
Yeah.
And you're crazy.
I like to break rackets, speed limits, other things.
So he was on NPR and he was talking about, Serena Williams. She's the number 1 ranked women's tennis player in the world.
Yeah.
And he claims that she'd struggle on the men's tennis circuit. Oh, no, he just said that.
But there is, of course, wonderful female players. Let's talk about Serena Williams. You say she is the best female player in the world in the book.
Best female player ever, no question.
Some wouldn't qualify it. Some would say she's the best player in the world. Why qualify it?
Oh, she's not, you mean the best player in the world, period?
Yeah, best tennis player in the world. Why say female player?
Well, because if she played the men's circuit, she'd be like 700 in the world.
You think so?
Yeah. That doesn't mean I don't think Serena's like an incredible player. I do. But there's, the reality of what would happen on a given day. Serena could beat some players, I believe, because she's so incredibly strong mentally. But if she had to just play the circuit, the men's circuit, that would be an entirely different story. So maybe at some point, a women's tennis player, can be better than anybody. I mean, I haven't seen it in any other sport, and I haven't seen it in tennis. And I suppose anything's possible at some stage.
No.
Wow. Well, that's not sitting well with a lot of feminists out there. Or with Serena Williams, who tweeted back to him, "Dear John, I adore and respect you, but please keep me out of your statements that are not factually based. I've never played anyone ranked there, nor do I have time. Respect me and my privacy as I'm trying to have a baby. Good day, sir."
I'm sorry. Did John McEnroe say something wrong? Bobby Riggs, at age 55, playing Billie Jean King, who was the top tennis player in the world at age 30, or just about one of the top. I mean, he beat her. He threw the match because he had to pay off the mob. I mean, do we have to go through this? Annika Sorenstam in golf.
Remember that? Oh, I remember that.
How'd that work out?
Cheering for my fellow Swede.
Serena Williams dominates. I mean, I don't know that much about tennis. I know a little bit.
Well,
Serena
won
Williams,
23 Grand Slams.
She dominates tennis in part because she hits the ball so much harder. Her serves are so much harder than every other female player, right? Her serves in the men's circuit would be pedestrian.
I want to see her play John McEnroe pregnant right now. That would be a great game.
No, it wouldn't. Not for her. I mean,
well, she'd beat John McEnroe right now because he's old.
Deal with this, feminists, okay? Just deal with this and stop being silly. Stop being silly little girls, because that's what people who suggest anything other than what John McEnroe are being. High school basketball players that are all state would dominate the WNBA.
Yeah.
High school. There is no one in women's tennis that is going to beat Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal. Yeah. Get out of here. No, a kicker may someday, like Eddie Goodell, be allowed to kick a field goal in an NFL game for PR purposes. If you want to destroy women's participation and support in sports, then follow the feminist psychosis that there's no difference and that women can compete on the same level as men. It's absurd. Stop it. Protect your daughters and those women in your life that you love and their ability to participate in sports by separating the genders and stopping silly little girls.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
we'll talk to Walter Olson, senior fellow at Cato Institute Center for Constitutional Studies, about the important Supreme Court decisions yesterday at 6:36.
But first, into the newsroom we go to a sporty Mike Scott.
55 degrees, sunny skies in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. White House warning that the Syrian government will pay a heavy price if it carries out another chemical weapons attack. In a statement, the White House says Syrian President Bashar al-Assad's forces may be preparing for such an attack. The Trump administration disputing a report from the Congressional Budget Office predicting millions would lose insurance coverage under a Senate GOP health insurance reform plan. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham wasn't all that impressed with that number, and in a statement, the White House says the CBO has proven it cannot accurately predict how health care legislation will impact insurance coverage. White House spokesman Sean Spicer says the president is pleased with the Supreme Court's decision on an immigrant travel ban.
Part of it will be dependent on what the lawyers believe its impact will be in terms of how it goes forward and what we can do.
The head of a Boston area drug company, a compounding company, blamed for a deadly meningitis outbreak, is going to prison for 9 years. Federal judge imposed the sentence on Barry Caden yesterday. Caden was convicted of racketeering and mail fraud after his New England compounding center sent out tainted drugs. Those drugs led to a fungal meningitis outbreak that sickened 750 in nearly 24 states. 76 died in 2012. Hardest hit states were Indiana and Michigan. An off-duty Chicago police officer, one of 2 dead following a 2-vehicle crash on the west side. Authorities say the accident happened early this morning near Roosevelt and Costner. And a key city council committee is backing an emergency order for the overnight closing of pedestrian tunnels under Lakeshore Drive. Cubs escape with a 5-4 win over the Nationals, while the Yankees top the White Sox 6-5. The news service of Jewel Osco. Hit the road with Jewel Osco and Shell. Now through June 27th, earn 4 times gas reward points on selected items. Redeem your rewards for up to 20 cents off per gallon at participating locations. Other restrictions and exclusions apply. Go to jewelosco.com for more details. 6:34, we'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager believes we live in a world of double standards.
If a fanatical Trump supporter had tried to murder as many Democratic congressmen as possible, you think a Nancy Pelosi would get up there and call for unity? I don't. I think she would have gotten up there and said, this is the hate unleashed by this president.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897. Are you or a family member suffering from addiction or substance abuse? If you or someone you love is struggling with addiction, don't know where to go, or have relapsed, Haymarket Center can help. Haymarket Center wants you and your family to know that addiction is a treatable medical condition. With more than 30 comprehensive programs, Haymarket Center has successfully provided addiction solutions for tens of thousands of individuals and their families since 1975. Haymarket Center's comprehensive approach is at the heart of what they do. They address the whole person, including their substance abuse, mental health, and medical care. Their family-based treatment plan allows families to be part of the treatment program so everyone can be part of the recovery. Treatment does work. There can be a solution. Recovery is possible. Haymarket Center's message to you: hope starts here. Call Haymarket Center now for an assessment at 312-CAN-HELP, 312-CAN-HELP, or visit hcenter.org. That's hcenter.org.
6:36. Let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. And here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the west side, the intersection of Roosevelt and Costner remains closed after that overnight wreck. The Edens inbound has delays starting at Niles Center Road, 23 minutes. Lake Oak to Montrose, outbound 21. Kennedy, 26 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 27. Inbound to Eisenhower is 50 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, 37 from Manheim, outbound 34 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 3 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 38 minutes. Ryan is 27 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound stop and goes 75th to the 82nd Street toll. Right lane's blocked. The semi that's partially disabled northbound lanes are from 111th to 75th. Plainfield Road to the Hinsdale Oasis. The Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Reagan Tollway heavy 83 to the Tri-State. Traffic is a service of CDC's doing an HIV testing campaign. Everyone's doing it. Everyone is testing for HIV. Lead by example. Knowing your HIV status allows you to stay healthy. It's fast, free, and confidential. Make HIV testing a part of your routine. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte at AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Just a pleasant day ahead. Beautiful. Plenty of sunshine and a high of 78. We'll have clear skies and 59 overnight. 55 degrees at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 7, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Radio Garden Sense, a show bringing your property's gardening needs alive. Radio Garden Sense, Sunday mornings at 11 on AM 560, The Answer.
Some call me the sage from South Central. Others call me the czar of common sense. But you can call me Larry Elder. And you're invited to join me tonight, starting at 7, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy.
I'm going to play you in tennis.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm an old man like Bobby Riggs. They'll still run you around the court. All right, a couple of important Supreme Court decisions yesterday. One on the matter of religious liberty, the Trinity United decision. The other on President Trump's temporary travel ban on individuals from certain countries, Muslim-majority countries, to focus on the quality of America's vetting of individuals coming from those countries that have a history of being incubators of terrorism. That was the rationale.
Yeah, and if they don't have a family member here or a job here or attending a university, then they're not going to be allowed in.
Right.
Until they're properly vetted.
So that was a qualified affirmation, it seems to me, of the executive's wide berth on immigration-related law. Andy McCarthy writing in National Review, it wasn't much of a victory for Trump for that very reason. Alito, Gorsuch, and Thomas were willing to adopt the travel ban
entirely,
the
right?
temporary travel ban in toto, but that wasn't the majority opinion. And, of course, then you've got left-wing senators who want the court to legislate because they believe Congress should just hold hearings. Congress should do law enforcement, and the Supreme Court should do lawmaking, apparently, in the minds of some D.C. politicians, including Senator Ed Markey, who didn't exactly get the holding of the Supreme Court on the travel ban right. He's a liberal from Massachusetts.
I'm disappointed that the court just didn't rule that a Muslim ban in and of itself is unconstitutional. That goes right to the heart of the Statue of Liberty, staring at the Trump Tower in New York City every single day in terms of what it stands for. But this first decision with regard to the overreach for businesses, for family members, for students coming to the country, that's good. But it still doesn't deal with this fundamental flaw in the Trump order, which is that at its heart, it is a Muslim ban. And it says to all refugees, if you're a Muslim, you cannot come to the United States of America.
Of course, that's not what it says at all. I mean, that is just factually wrong. Black letter of the order wrong. But that's the hysterics you get from the left. Listen to Senator Mazie Hirono, Democrat from Hawaii, on Gorsuch, Alito, and Thomas, and what might be coming if Justice Kennedy retires. You know what's coming. The apocalypse.
Talks about everything is great, wonderful. It's still a Muslim ban. And by lifting a part of the injunction, by creating a category of people who will be able to come in, by showing some kind of bona fide relationship with people or institutions in our country, I don't know what that means. And by the way, Neil Gorsuch, who I did not support as a Supreme Court justice, he's joined two of the most conservative justices, Clarence Thomas and Alito, on the court to take the position that the entire injunction should have been lifted. This is like the three horsemen of the apocalypse, and they're waiting for the fourth one to come along so that they can go on their trend toward what I call extremism.
Oh, she's coined the term extremism. That's what she calls it. Yeah, so there you go. Those are the scholarly opinions of the left as represented by two of their esteemed senators. For more on the topic and the actual legal implications and the basis for the decisions, we're pleased to be joined by Walter Olson, who is a senior fellow at the Cato Institute Center for Constitutional Studies. Walter, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
So why don't we start with the travel ban, the temporary travel ban that was Trump's executive order adjudicated by the court yesterday. This sort of split decision, in the words of Andy McCarthy over at National Review, in terms of the, as Amy mentioned, this, if you have a connection to an American here standard, and what McCarthy calls the jurisprudence of Trump, meaning that the Supreme Court is adjudicating cases differently for President Trump than they would if somebody else was president.
Well, yeah, let's start with that first point, which is the legal basis of having to have an American connection. And despite what Senator Mazie Hirono just said she can't imagine why they did it that way, there is a legal connection, which is, the court starts from the history of this area of law where generally the person who is abroad has no right to come here, but someone in the United States who might be their spouse or their employer or whatever, they might have rights connected with their immigration. So that's why it's very much in line with previous law for them to draw a distinction between people who have some sort of sponsor or connection here and people who don't. Now, on the second point, it's one of the points that's very significant for what did not happen in the court's action yesterday. It's like Sherlock Holmes and the Dog in the Night. One of the things that did not happen is that they did not treat it as if all the law is out the window because this president is so strange. And let's face it, that's exactly what the Ninth Circuit and some other places did. Instead, the Supreme Court analyzed it just the same way as if any other president had given the order. It was calm. It was going to apply the same laws that it would have, and that bodes well for President Trump, not because his order is perfect, because flaws are found in it, but because he loses a lot of points he otherwise would have won because of this Trump is special atmosphere.
What about the other aspects of the travel ban? Is that going to be revisited then again in the fall?
It will be revisited, and let me mention the second thing that didn't happen, which is that the extreme liberal position of the Ninth Circuit didn't get a single vote, and I think that's one of the most important things that happened. Is that not Ruth Ginsburg, not Sonia Sotomayor, none of them were willing to go out on a limb for most of the stuff that the Fourth and Ninth Circuits were doing. Now, that having been said, they did leave some of the injunction in place. At this point, it gets complex because topics that usually only lawyers care about, like mootness, is there still a controversy? Has it been resolved by the fall? A lot of things can happen between now and the fall. That is going to offer not only an intellectual puzzle, but also possibly a tactical way for justices who might want to get it off their plate and not have to decide big issues. They might say, oh, it's moot. The order has changed, or they've completed the review, or whatever the thing is.
But what they did leave open is the possibility that this issue is going to be litigated, at least for the existence of the temporary travel ban, which is only to the fall, because you can say, you're litigating the matter of a bona fide relationship with an American.
Exactly. There will be individual disputes about what that language means, and there will also be the big dispute. And it could be that everyone wants to have an answer, and that we will get that answer. Again, I predict from what the court has done so far that it will be an answer that is much more protective of traditional presidential prerogatives and federal prerogatives than some of what we were hearing from the ACLU earlier this year. But
the important thing, just going back to your point about the 9-0 decision with respect to the liberal appellate courts, the other thing that's important here is that essentially they rejected this idea that a political candidate's campaign statements should inform legal decisions.
They refused to treat that as dispositive evidence. Doesn't mean it may not rear its head again, but again, very significant because we heard so much about, from now on, everyone's campaign statements, maybe 10 years earlier, maybe 20 years earlier, maybe what they said in high school, they're all going to be put into the sausage machine of finding animus and finding prejudice, and the Supreme Court did not go there. They used other legal materials, and I think implicitly they were frowning on that because they see, it could lead anywhere or nowhere if you start doing that.
Yeah, and another big story making news out of the Supreme Court yesterday. They ruled 7-2 that it's unconstitutional for the state of Missouri to treat churches and other religious organizations worse than everyone else simply because they are religious. That's in regards to the Lutheran Church that wanted to apply for a grant to improve their playground.
Mm-hmm. And again, note what the consensus was broader than people thought. They got 2 of the 4 liberal justices to sign on, which is why it was 7-2. The court is in a very different place from the old Earl Warren court, which was going around looking for ways to build walls between the government and religion. They recognize that if you go too far in that direction, you wind up discriminating against religious institutions. And it's so humdrum to talk about shredding tires, but in a way, it lets us be objective. They're not talking about school books. They're not talking about something to get into religious instruction. They're just talking about whether kids can be a little safer if they are playing on a jungle gym. And when it's that kind of neutral program, if you let everyone else participate in it, so said 7 justices, you got to let a church participate in it too.
Yeah, and that's despite the fact, and this gives you some kind of indication of how the court is split on matters of religious liberty. Sonia Sotomayor argued that the court's opinion was a radical mistake. Radical mistake. That's so you still have this kind of anti-religiosity, this idea among some, even on the high court, that the Establishment Clause means separation of church and state rather than the establishment of a national religion.
Well, to be fair, the court's jurisprudence on religion has been so confused and so inconsistent for years. No one comes off looking all that well. But from Sotomayor's point of view and from a lot of critics, they are looking at the school situation. They are terribly worried that someday there may be vouchers or tax credits that put religious and public schools on more of an even footing. And so anything that takes even a tiny step toward that, they will sound the alarms. But the fact is that not everything is about schools.
Well, but also, too, I mean, just on the matter of school choice, I think you're right to raise that the fear that the left has. The Zellman case, that's precedential at this point, which is as long as the parent is making the decision with the resources and you're not granting the resources, the scholarship resources directly to the school, then you can have a school choice program like the Cleveland case that was at bar in that case.
Oh, right. No, I just, reading the periodicals on the left and so forth, I just see, it quickly gets into a kind of teachers' union, the labyrinth of literature where they spend a lot of time thinking about that. And as the conservatives have pointed out, you can't actually press the logic in the opposite direction without getting to absurdities such as the fire department shouldn't send out a team for a burning church. I mean, obviously, the government is all the time handing out equal services to churches in many ways. And so, I think 7 justices said this is common sense. If you want to bring us tougher cases, then we'll decide those. But this is not a very tough case.
All right. He is Walter Olson, Senior Fellow at the Cato Institute Center for Constitutional Studies. Walter, thanks so much for joining us and appreciate your insights.
Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. South Carolina gets a huge economic boost from BMW. Durable goods orders fell last month. Ohio hit by bizarre pro-Islamic hackers. Those stories next.
Have you racked up more than $10,000 in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? You should know the credit card companies are tricking you into thinking there's no way out. Credit card companies would rather you didn't know that there are ways you can become debt-free and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. There are debt relief programs that help people like you escape overwhelming credit card debt. National Debt Relief has helped tens of thousands of people just like you reduce more than $500 million of debt. National Debt Relief has helped so many people. They're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. You don't have to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan. You have the right to settle your debt for a mere fraction of what you owe. Reduce a portion of your debt now. Call National Debt Relief at 800-975-5115. 800-975-5115. That's 800-975-5115.
South Carolina will see $600 million in new investment by BMW over the next 4 years. The plant expansion also will create 1,000 more jobs. BMW says its plant in Spartanburg County will export 70% of the cars that it makes. The Commerce Department reporting orders for durable goods fell 1% in May, the second straight monthly drop. The May decline driven by a plunge in the demand for aircraft, both civilian and military. Economic reports today, the Red Book update on sales at chain stores and discounters and an index of home prices nationwide. Officials say 11 state of Ohio websites are back to normal after they were hacked Sunday and infected with pro-Islamic State messages. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
You know, not all pillows are made the same. Oh, no. And our good friend Mike Lindell over there at MyPillow, founder, creator, uses this patented fill, and it helps you conform to your neck and back to give you the best sleep ever, whether you sleep on your side or your back or your stomach. And in the month of June, you will receive the 50% discount off of the MyPillow 4-pack, which is two premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows for 50% off. I promise you'll sleep deeper and won't wake up to a stiff neck or headache. And if you're not satisfied, there's a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty on that bad boy. He really believes in his product, and so do I. That's why you should go to MyPillow.com, promo code Amy, to get yourself a MyPillow. Start sleeping through the night. Start enjoying going to bed every night so you could rest your head on a MyPillow. MyPillow.com, promo code Amy, or if you're old school, call 800, like me, 489-0201. That's 800-489-0201. Promo code Amy.
They're here, circling over your head, and they're tracking you down. You feel overwhelmed, like you can't escape. You need a solution to get your back taxes filed, to put your life back on track. You need someone who can keep the vultures at bay and work directly with the IRS to leverage every opportunity to settle your tax debt. Mary Karpowitz, CEO of Comprehensive Tax Solutions, is licensed to represent you before the IRS. Don't let the IRS threaten you. You should never need to speak to them directly. Mary does that for you. Comprehensive Tax Solutions will help you settle your entire IRS tax debt for up to 85% off the original amount owed, including penalties and interest if you qualify. Comprehensive Tax Solutions, family owned in Chicagoland, can be a lifesaver for you. Call 708-478-6770, 708-478-6770, or go to resolveyourtaxproblems.com. Call 708-478-6770 now.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity, sponsored by Upstream-Ideas.com. In 2008, Barack Obama scaled Chicago's big government trafficking operation nationally. The nation got only a small taste of the damage Chicago's RICO-style governance inflicts. Illinois has not been so fortunate. The kleptocratic kingpins who run the city that works you over have relegated Illinois to the status of a cautionary tale as to how a poisonous government-centric culture turns the state into one giant Ponzi scheme. Politics pervades everything in Illinois. The result is that the nation's highest combined state and local tax burden has proven no match for the spending appetites of Pauls who've racked up $250 billion in debt while skipping out on more tabs than Leona Helmsley in her heyday. With collapse in the offing, the Sicarios for Illinois' political crime family seek a federal lifeline in the form of state bankruptcy. Congress should consider removing sovereign immunity protections to make an example of those who turned Illinois into the bad example. Of America's 50 laboratories of democracy, Illinois is the meth lab. If we want to prevent more states from getting hooked on junk governance, the Bernie Madoff treatment should be applied to those who cook the books in Illinois.
Yes, indeed. Summertime. Another hot one. Wait, gonna be a little bit cooler today. Back to hot. Gonna be windy. Maybe a thunderstorm mixed in for good measure. Up and down and up and down. The climate is always changing. Your company's heating and cooling system really gets a workout in Chicagoland. Be ready for anything this summer. Call Air Comfort and get your business's cooling system tuned up and running at peak performance. You see, the Air Comfort problem solvers can find small problems before they become big problems. Plus, proper maintenance will keep your system from wasting energy and money. Air Comfort will make sure your equipment is clean and obstacle-free. And if your chiller is about to or has stopped working, they can install temporary solutions to keep you cool while the long-term fixes are put in place. The key to keep your climate from changing is preventative maintenance, and Air Comfort can help. Schedule a comprehensive assessment of your mechanical system today. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
You are about to hear from Dr. Douglas Howard.
After 20 years and tens of thousands of success stories, Balance of Nature is still the only pure whole food supplement available. Balance of Nature has served more than 500 million servings of fruits and vegetables. Don't accept imitations, copies, or substitutions. Our success stories are unique to Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. You'll know you have the real thing when you open the bottles and see, smell, and taste real produce.
It is worth every penny I pay because they really have made such a difference in my life. It is making me feel a whole lot better.
Even my doctor thought it was a good product.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you for free. Call now for details.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
Hey, did you know that the cell phone you're holding right now is likely supporting the liberal agenda of Nancy Pelosi and Bernie Sanders? It's true. Most of the big cell phone companies contribute to the pro-abortion agenda, gun control, and open borders. That's why you should use that cell phone in your hand and call 1-800-A-PATRIOT to switch to Patriot Mobile, the nation's only conservative cell phone company. Patriot Mobile offers the same great nationwide coverage you're used to, the newest cell phones, and they'll even buy out your current contract with credits up to $500 per line or $1,500 per account. And when you switch to Patriot Mobile, they'll donate up to 5% of their monthly proceeds to the conservative cause of your choice at no extra cost to you. You can bring your number and your phone or get new ones. Call 1-800-A-PATRIOT right now to get a plan and device that fits your needs, or go to patriotmobile.com/Joe. Use promo code Joe and they'll waive the activation fee. 1-800-A-PATRIOT or patriotmobile.com/Joe. Promo code Joe.
AM 560. The Answer.
Breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law.
Judas Priest in the morning, huh? What could go wrong?
I wonder if Richard Dent will be in my traffic school class.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
At 7:07, we'll talk about how Dan Proft almost got arrested this morning. He did receive a ticket, but almost a misdemeanor, right?
Like Sammy Hagar, I can't drive 55 or 65 or 75 or 85 and so on.
110.
At 7:07, we have the left opposing travel bans, except the one promulgated by the state of California.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy, Indiana, police officer, one of 2 killed in a West Side crash. The family of a man, a slain Uber driver, suing Walmart. Details on that story coming up. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
Democrats keep hoping Republicans fail, replacing Obamacare at the Senate. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Democrats held a rally outside the Capitol last night.
We got to push. We got to organize and mobilize.
That's Congressman John Lewis as Republican leaders try to unite GOP senators on the bill. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, a Congressional Budget Office report shows the plan would slash the deficit while moving 22 million Americans off health insurance plans over the next decade. Democrats upset about rolling back Medicaid expansion. Republican Senator John Thune supports the legislation.
The policy isn't going to get better if we drag this out, and the politics certainly isn't going to get any better either.
The question this morning, do Republicans have the votes? At this point, 4 Republicans are opposed to even opening debate. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell wanted to have the health care bill wrapped up by Friday. Dave.
Rachel, the White House issued a warning to Syria last night in a statement saying the U.S. has identified potential preparations for another chemical weapons attack. And if that happens, the Assad regime would pay a heavy price. Months after the U.S. retaliated for a deadly chemical attack there. There's reaction from Syria and Russia. Fox's Alistair Wanklin live in our European bureau.
Dave, Syria denying it is preparing a chemical attack, and the Kremlin dismissing the White House warning, accusing the U.S. of threatening Syria's leadership. A spokesman for the Russian president saying there is no evidence that Syria has or has used chemical weapons. In April, U.S. warships unleashed a barrage of Tomahawk missiles on a Syrian airbase identified as the launch site. for chemical weapons that killed dozens, Dave.
Alistair, President Trump's again taking shots at CNN on Twitter as fake news, tweeting, wow, CNN had to retract big story on Russia, 3 employees forced to resign. Washington, D.C. makes history today, the first in the U.S. to offer a new gender option on driver's licenses. Instead of male or female, residents can choose X. Oregon will start offering something similar next month. Fox News, fair and balanced.
57 degrees, sunny skies in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. An off-duty Chicago police officer is one of 2 dead after a 2-vehicle crash on the west side. Authorities tell us that accident happened early this morning near Roosevelt and Costner. Both victims died at the scene. The collision remains under investigation. And the search continues this morning to find the driver involved in a deadly crash in Chicago's River North neighborhood. Authorities say a Nissan was speeding on Ontario Street early yesterday when it slammed into a utility pole, burst apart, and burst into flames at Orleans. A woman passenger died at the scene. The man driving ran off. The victim identified as Alejandra Damian of Joliet. Illinois Speaker Mike Madigan is indicating that he may have a Democratic budget proposal ready for discussion today, but will it fly in Springfield? AM 560's David Stewart with more.
House Republican leader Jim Durkin says they're ready to negotiate, but some non-budget issues are still key.
We want good faith on pensions, workmen's compensation reform, and property tax reform.
But Speaker Madigan says it will be up to the GOP lawmakers to persuade Governor Rauner to accept compromises on those issues if they want a deal by the end of the week deadline.
If Governor Rauner is reasonable on these issues, then we can finalize an overall agreement.
In addition, Madigan has his own non-budget demands, including a Rauner signature on a school funding reform plan. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
The Lansing Police Department is investigating after a video surfaced online showing an off-duty officer holding down a teenage boy. The footage taken Saturday outside the officer's Lansing home. Now, the officer can be heard using profanities as he pins down the 15-year-old. Authorities say the boy had just been involved in a major fight, and the officer was detaining him until on-duty officers arrived. Cubs escape with a 5-4 win over the Nationals, and some highlight gems from Javi Baez in the opener of a 4-game series in Washington. White Sox fall to the Yankees 6-5 in the first of a 4-game set here in Chicago. And the Florida Gators are a win away from their first National College Baseball Championship as they beat LSU in Game 1 of the College World Series 4-3. The news service of the CDC's Doing It HIV testing campaign. HIV doesn't have a face. It can happen to anyone, anytime, and only takes one time. It's not just about you. It's about your community. What's important is that you get tested and tested regularly. Everyone does it to stay strong. Everyone's doing it. Are you? 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
We believe in the truth. We believe that you trust our hosts and our news to give you the real answers, not fake news. Not fake news. You want the alternative to fake news. We give you breaking news when it happens. We are here for you. The best and most honest talker, hands down. Honesty is our middle name. News and talk you can trust.
I want you all to know that we are fighting the fake news. It's fake, phony.
AM 560, The Answer.
With Quicken Loans, the outdated and complicated mortgage process is a thing of the past. Our simple process helps you understand all the details so you can be confident that you're getting the right mortgage. Take your mortgage to the next level and call 800-QUICKEN or go completely online with Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. No matter how you prefer to work with us, we've got what you need to get you through the mortgage process with ease. For 7 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the 3rd year in a row, they also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. Whether you're looking to purchase or refinance, now is the time. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.875%, APR 4.23%. Call 800-QUICKEN or get started online at rocketmortgage.com. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
7:06. Let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Telemonti.
Thanks, Mike. The CTA reports some delays on the Blue Line after police activity on the northwest side at Western. On the west side, the intersection of Roosevelt and Costa remains closed after that major overnight wreck. Eden's inbound 23 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 25. Kennedy, 36 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 16 from Montrose, 14 in the Express. Outbound, it's 38 minutes to the airport. About Eisenhower, delays start at St. Charles. It's now 1 hour from Thorndale to downtown, 46 minutes from Mannheim, outbound 49 to Thorndale. Stevenson is an hour and 10 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 47 minutes. Ryan, 27 minutes, 95th to the Loop. I-57, 25 minutes, I-80 to the Merge, Bishop 420. Tri-State southbound, slows 75th to the 82nd Street toll. The right lane's blocked. Stalled semi. Northbound delays, 111th to 75th. Plainfield Road to the Hinsdale Oasis. Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Reagan Tollway, slow 83 to the Tri-State Veterans Memorial. Army Trail to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Full day of sunshine today, high 77. Clear night tonight with a low 59. Tomorrow, partly sunny with a gusty breeze, high 83. Watch for a severe thunderstorm in the evening, low tomorrow night 69. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
57 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by HealthQuest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba. HealthQuest Radio is heard Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock here on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Dan Proft got pulled over this morning on the way to work going about 110.
No.
Well, no, you blew
Ridiculous.
by me. You blew by me, and then you were just changing lanes erratically.
You're going to be called as a prosecution witness if you keep this up.
I know nothing. I'll plead the fifth.
Regarding my incident, our friend Sam Unsicker, you know, he's the guy at Big Monster Toys downtown.
Oh, I have to go visit him with my Peyton and Eli. Yes.
Yeah, it's a cool place. Cool
Love
business.
it there.
Good morning. Sorry to hear about your little mishap this morning. Just want to let you know that if you were driving something like maybe a smart car, you wouldn't have these problems. Because Sam drives a smart car, and I needled him relentlessly upon finding out that he drives a smart car because he's bigger than the car that he drives.
Exactly. I mean, he works out. He plays volleyball all the time. He's ripped, and he's taller than both of us. And he gets in a little tiny clown car. We in a bitty car.
I mean, it's just no way to live. I'd rather be sentenced to life than drive a smart car.
But
so
but here I think you're leading. You know, you're bearing the lead, so you can be technically arrested for a misdemeanor because you were going.
You don't know what I was going.
Richard Dent speeds.
I've made general statements in terms of what the allegations are against me. This is alleged.
Did you have enough
this is
money
going to be
in your
adjudicated
pocket?
in a court of law.
Did you have enough money in your pocket to get your driver's license back?
No, the officer took my license as bond for
What
the
is
court hearing.
what's the bond?
You don't pay money on the street.
Well, sometimes.
Not me. No. Law and order all the way for me. I wouldn't even impugn the officer's integrity by suggesting such a thing.
Well, what was the bond on your?
The license.
Mishap? The license.
The license was my bond.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or $2,000 maybe.
I'll let you know what happens in court.
All right.
La 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 ka-ching.
This is an interesting story, particularly juxtaposed against the Supreme Court decision 9-0 that the lower courts stays. The stays issued by lower courts on Trump's temporary travel ban are absurd. Essentially, they didn't. That's not what the court said, but that's essentially what they did. 9-0, not close.
No,
across the political spectrum.
I know your friend Andrew McCarthy over there at National Review didn't think it was a big win for Trump, but I thought it was, and so did President Trump. He tweeted, "Great day for America's future, security and safety, courtesy of the U.S. Supreme Court. I will keep fighting for the American people and win."
It's a qualified win. Sean Spicer had this statement yesterday at his presser.
The president was honored by the 9-0 decision that allows him to use an important tool to protect our nation's homeland. His number one responsibility as commander-in-chief is to keep the American people safe, and that's exactly what this executive order does. In terms of next steps, the government's reviewing the decision and determining how to proceed going forward.
So, so that's a travel ban that, despite the 9-0 decision on the High Court, the left opposes, of course, and continues to demagogue their leftist politicians. But they do support the travel ban imposed by the state of California.
Oh, they have their own travel ban?
On public sector entities, banning travel using taxpayer money to 8 states: Alabama, Texas, South Dakota, Kentucky, Tennessee, North Carolina, Mississippi, and Kansas, because per the state of California and its Kamala Harris wannabe Attorney General, Xavier Becerra, those states, those 8 states, have passed laws that discriminate against LGBTQ people. So taxpayer money, the use of it for public entities, their representatives, to travel to those states, prohibited.
So they can't go to their convention in Kansas.
No, the more interesting. Well, here, think about this.
What exactly does that mean?
Well, think about this. I mean, it means state employees. Think about government at every level. Taxpayer funds for travel.
Right, okay.
For conferences, as you said. What about this? Clay Travis over at Outkick the Coverage, he raises the specter of, I'm looking at football schedules for the fall.
Yeah.
And UCLA goes to play Texas A&M.
Right.
State school.
Oh.
Can they use taxpayer funds to for the football team to travel to play away games for Berkeley, for UCLA, so on and so forth? Public institutions in the state of California. Will and he asked Becerra's office for an opinion. He hasn't gotten one yet, but that we'll see. Is it just virtue signaling, or do they want to meet the letter of the prohibition? And I hope they meet the letter of the prohibition, and conservatives should demand that they do. The state of Tennessee has responded.
Oh, the volunteer state.
Yeah, they responded with a resolution that was directed California's way. The ban, for Tennessee's sake, stems from legislation enacted by Tennessee that allows counselors to refer patients to other counselors who can better meet their goals, which the California state legislature judges to be morally reprehensible. And whereas California's attempt to influence public policy in our state is akin to Tennessee expressing its disapproval of California's exorbitant taxes, spiraling budget deficits, runaway social welfare programs, and rampant illegal immigration, and whereas Tennessee is pleasantly surprised that California will not be sending its economic development teams to Tennessee to recruit our businesses, but we can still send our teams to recruit their businesses, and whereas Tennessee is puzzled while California thinks it's a good idea to prohibit its state colleges and universities from participating in athletic competition in Tennessee, March Madness comes to Memphis this year via the South Regional, Kansas, Mississippi, and North Carolina. And whereas this type of ban, the result of legislative disagreements about government policy, is neither persuasive nor productive to either party and will lead to economic warfare among states, as one sovereign entity attempts to tell an equally sovereign entity how to conduct its affairs by restricting travel thereby, and goes on like that. Tennessee, the volunteer state, reading California, the Riot Act via this resolution and making some good points. I hope UCLA or Stanford or Berkeley isn't assigned to the South Regional, or your Cal, right, isn't assigned to the South Regional if they make the tournament next March, right?
Oh, yeah.
So what about that travel ban? I mean, I'm all for the 50 laboratories of democracy doing what they will, Illinois being the meth lab of the 50 labs. Go do what you will. But isn't it interesting, this travel ban and thinking about it, a temporary restriction to improve vetting in the interest of national security so we can identify who is coming to this country. That they vehemently oppose. That is totalitarianism. That is discrimination. This is good public policy, according to California, and they're shaming 8 states.
Well, it reminds me of Arizona's Show Me Your Papers law. Remember that? And the girls' Highland Park basketball team was going to go down there for a tournament, and everybody banned against Arizona. And I argued at that time, we're all in this together. That's a sister state. I mean, Phoenix is a suburb of Chicago. If you see how many Chicagoans live in Phoenix and in Scottsdale, it just reminds me of that. But it's so hypocritical of them to be against Trump's travel ban, but then to create their own ban.
Well, and don't forget, California is. I mean, Illinois is in the running, but California is really the state that has decided to completely politicize the law. I mean, think about the political persecution of David Daleiden. Last week, a San Francisco Superior Court, San Francisco, dismissed 14 of the 15 criminal counts against David Daleiden and his cohort. This is Center for Medical Progress that did all those undercover Planned Parenthood videos. 14 of the 15 criminal counts were dismissed against Daleiden and his fellow undercover operative.
Good.
One count remaining. But Attorney General Xavier Becerra, again, said he is going to submit revised charges against them.
Why?
Because it's political.
Because they uncovered the truth?
Because he's pro-abortion. Because he's a Planned Parenthood toady. So this is using the law as a weapon to punish people you disagree with. David in Forest Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Amy.
Hello.
In California, it's the taxpayer dollar. They have a right to tell their officials what they want. This is the people talking, and the people decided they don't want their officials using their money to go to states that don't represent them in their views on LGBT.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know what that has to do with the Trump ban. Those are worlds apart.
Yeah, that's right. And so it'll be interesting to see if the people of California still support that ban, assuming they do. I mean, the state legislature, I understand. Thanks for the call, Dave. It'll be interesting to see if they continue to support that ban once the implications are realized, if they are realized, including for the breads and circuses, for the theater company to travel to one of those states for some festival, for, again, sports teams, most importantly, how the boosters at UCLA and Berkeley and Fresno State, how they will see the implications of that travel ban if it is actually followed through. That'll be fun to see, won't it? I'm not saying California can't do what they want, but I'm saying the mentality of the left is the culture warrior. The culture warrior. The law is just a weapon to advance their culture war. That's what's happening here. There's a great piece by Bill McGurn in the Wall Street Journal about Anthony Kennedy, who's the left's culture warrior on the bench when it comes to issues of family and life, frankly.
Gun rights and...
Well, not so much gun rights, but I mean on those family issues. I mean, this is
right.
Kennedy's the one who authored the op-ed masquerading as a judicial opinion in the Obergefell case. He's the reliable progressive culture warrior on the bench. There is a forthcoming book by Naomi Klein, noted feminist. No is not enough. Resisting Trump's shock politics and winning the world we need. She writes about identity politics, particularly in the wake of Ossoff's loss in Georgia, which the Democrats had invested so much in. She writes about that. It's short-sighted, not to mention dangerous, to call for liberals and progressives to abandon their focus on identity politics and concentrate instead on economics and class, as if these factors could anyway be pried apart. Rich Lowry notes in a piece about the social issue orthodoxy of the left. Stopping Trump is an imperative so long as it doesn't require the party rethinking its uncompromising stance on abortion, guns, or immigration. Every old rule should be thrown out in the cause of the resistance except the tried and true orthodoxies on social issues. That's the left's position. And with respect to this particular matter, California's travel ban, it's going to be real interesting to see if the Supreme Court, what the Supreme Court holds in their forthcoming case, Masterpiece Cake Shop versus Colorado Civil Rights Commission, on the bakers and the photographers that don't want to provide services for a same-sex wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Because if the Supreme Court rules in favor of the bakers and the photographers and the sort, then I guess California is going to have to ban travel to every state, including California, because the Supreme Court's decision would preempt California law on the matter. I love taking the position of the left to logical conclusions. You connect some dots and you see the folly. Pete in Montgomery, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning, Dan. Morning, Amy. Speaking of folly, wouldn't this ill-thought-out ban include police activity to go pick up a prisoner for out-of-state warrant.
Oh, that's an interesting case. Thanks for the call, P. That's an interesting example. Yeah. I mean, that would be public resources to travel. So police officers that have to go pick up a fugitive in Tennessee or Alabama or Texas or South Dakota or North Carolina or Mississippi or Kansas for whatever reason.
Yeah, but normally if they cross state lines, it's a FBI matter.
Not if it's a state crime.
Really? I thought once you cross state lines, that's when the feds can.
It's the issue of the crime, not the
all right, well, they can't go.
So, okay, all right. So,
but you drive fast, you can go pick them up.
So if you commit a state-level offense in California, go to one of these states because if the officers come to get you, if you're arrested by local authorities in one of these 8 states, then they can't travel to get you. And if they do, then you could challenge their detainment of you under this prohibition. Wouldn't that be fun? See, that's what happens when you just write the law based on your personal political opinions and not based on kind of any standard or foundational principle. You end up kind of tying yourself in knots, like California Attorney General Becerra and former California Attorney General now United States Senator Kamala Harris.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Today, plenty of sunshine. A cool start, though, to your day. 59 degrees right now at O'Hare, going up to a high of 78. And then clear tonight and tomorrow, partly sunny with a gusty breeze, a possible shower, a high of 83. Let's get into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. As the west side cleared up, here's Jim Talamonte with the answer.
No, Amy and Dan, we still have a closure of Roosevelt and Costner. That intersection is closed. Roosevelt from Kilbourne to Kildare, Costner from Crenshaw to 13th. This was a major double fatal overnight wreck. Eden's inbound, 22 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 24. To Kennedy, 36 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 38. Inbound Eisenhower's now 61 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, 46 from Manheim, outbound 49 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 10 minutes, 3:55 to the drive. Outbound, it's 50 minutes. Ryan, 27 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, stop and go Cicero to 31st. And from the Reagan Tollway, most of the way to the Adams Tollway. The Adams Tollway is fine. Reagan Tollway delays. Yackley to 3:55 and 83 to the Tri-State. Veterans Memorial from Boughton most of the way to Roosevelt. The Army Trail toll to 290. Westbound 8094, there's a delay from Grant to Klein. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Oh, summer is here. School's in the rearview mirror. But if you didn't like your child's experience in a public school and thought, you know what, I want to try a private school, well, now is the time to log on to halfpriceschools.com. At halfpriceschools.com.
Now that they can get their playgrounds paid for with federal grants.
Oh, yeah. At halfpriceschools.com, you can find a full year of tuition at half the price. There's no catch. Find a school near you, purchase the tuition voucher, and prepare to send your child off to school this fall. HalfPriceSchools.com has schools located all across the Chicago area, from South Holland to Antioch to Waukegan to Mount Prospect, just to name a few. But don't wait. These vouchers always sell out. Do it now. Go to halfpriceschools.com. That's halfpriceschools.com.
You are about to hear from Dr. Douglas Howard. After 20 years and tens of thousands of success stories, Balance of Nature is still the only pure whole food supplement available. Balance of Nature has served more than 500 million servings of fruits and vegetables. Don't accept imitations, copies, or substitutions. Our success stories are unique to Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. You'll know you have the real thing when you open the bottles and see, smell, and taste real produce.
It is worth every penny I pay because they really have made such a difference in my life. It is making me feel a whole lot better.
Even my doctor thought it was a good product.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you for free. Call now for details.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code CHICAGO.
Are you stuck in a bad home mortgage? Well, join the club that has about 10 million other American families. But I may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've been helping distressed homeowners like you for over 8 years now. Give us a call. We provide free consultations. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest legal analysis, counsel, recommendations and advice regarding your options.
We are experts in doing loan modifications successfully. We know the regs. We understand the process. Most importantly, we don't take no for an answer. We fight. We are prepared, and we win. We save houses. We make houses affordable. So if you want to keep your house affordable, contact us.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, I guarantee you'll never be alone in this country.
Worry less with Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Liberty Mutual saved me almost $800 when I switched my home and auto insurance.
Liberty did what?
Yeah, I got the perfect coverage for us, and I didn't have to worry about skimping on Emma's party.
Well, that explains the...
Pony! Best birthday ever!
Visit us online to get a quote. You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Based on a recent countrywide survey of new customers. Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company.
Bryce's lifeless body slumped over the piano keyboard. His forehead played a dissonant chord that reverberated throughout the hall. Not his best performance, I thought. I opened the back of his neck with my screwdriver. A couple of fresh bars of lithium brought him and the music back to life. I am sure that someday he will do the same for me.
If this 20-second performance made you feel something, imagine what an entire Audible book can do. Visit audible.com to start your free 30-day trial.
You're the one that gets it done. The person your friends call to see if you can fix it. Brakes? No biggie. Shocks and struts? Simple and straightforward. The catalytic converter heat shield? Come on. If it has wheels, you can make it go. But not having the right part can bring your project to a screeching halt. Problem solved with MyPartsGarage.com. My Parts Garage is not a big box store that needs to wait to get a part in. MyPartsGarage.com is the warehouse that sells wholesale to you. They own the inventory. Your part is always in stock. But wait, there's more. Like free shipping within 24 hours, in-state, next-day delivery, or pick it up today at the warehouse. Right now, MyPartsGarage.com will price match your order, and yes, the shipping is still free. The last thing you need to do is drive fast and furiously to find parts. The average driver in Chicago commutes at least 24 miles per day. People are spending more hours in their car than they do at home. Drivers need you. You need MyPartsGarage.com. Lowest prices guaranteed and free shipping.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up, 3 down at CNN and a Don Lemon, an Aaron Burnett.
Yeah.
And,
what?
Chris Cuomo to go, I'd say.
Yeah, 3 people, they resigned. They wanted to spend more time with their family.
Of course they did. Right after that latest false Russia story that they were responsible for. Gloria Borger, too, I guess you could add to that list. So we'll discuss that as well as the forthcoming case the Supreme Court will adjudicate. Masterpiece Cake Shop versus Colorado Civil Rights Commission. We'll talk about that with Carrie Kupik, legal counsel for the Alliance Defending Freedom, at 7:37.
And later, you don't want to miss this. Senator Ron Johnson, he's one of the holdouts. He said a vote this week on health care would be a mistake. He joins us again at 8:38. Now let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
57 degrees, mostly sunny skies in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott, Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. The White House warning that the Syrian government will pay a heavy price if it carries out another chemical weapons attack. In a statement, the White House says Syrian President Bashar al-Assad's forces may be preparing for another chemical-type attack. The Trump administration is disputing a report from the Congressional Budget Office that predicts millions would lose insurance coverage under a Senate GOP health insurance reform plan. In a statement, the White House said the CPO has proven it cannot accurately predict how health care legislation will impact insurance coverage. Democrats like Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon say the new bill would be a disaster.
Here is a Republican health proposal that is going to hit millions of working people and seniors like a wrecking ball.
At the White House, spokesman Sean Spicer says the president is very pleased with the Supreme Court decision on his immigrant travel ban.
Part of it will be dependent on what the lawyers believe its impact will be in terms of how it goes forward and what we can do.
In an off-camera briefing yesterday, Spicer says the president is confident about prevailing when the High Court looks at the broader case in the fall. A new bill will keep airlines from forcibly removing passengers from planes, and it's working its way through Congress. The proposal comes after United Airlines faced a backlash for dragging a man through the Chicago Aviation Police off an overbooked flight earlier this year. By the way, that bill would also privatize air traffic control. An off-duty Chicago police officer, one of two, who died following a two-vehicle crash on the west side early this morning. Authorities tell us the accident happened near Roosevelt and Costner and is still under investigation. The family of an Uber driver who was hacked to death by a teen last month in suburban Lincolnwood is suing Walmart. Grant Nelson's family filed suit in Cook County Court yesterday. No one is in custody after a 13-year-old boy was shot and killed on Chicago's south side near 103rd Place and Morgan. And Mayor Emanuel is talking with billionaire Elon Musk about the possibility of building a high-speed rail line between downtown Chicago and O'Hare. The mayor's discussed the idea of Musk using a high-tech boring machine to dig out an underground tunnel for that train line. Cubs escape with a 5-4 win over the Nationals. Yankees over the White Sox 6-5. Hockey Hall of Famers, a dynamic duo going in together. Teemu Solani and Paul Correa. The News is a service of the CDC's Doing It HIV testing campaign. Everyone is testing for HIV. Lead by example and know your HIV status. And know that it allows you to stay healthy, fast, free, and confidential. Make HIV testing part of your routine. 7:33, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager believes we live in a world of double standards.
If a fanatical Trump supporter had tried to murder as many Democratic congressmen as possible, you think a Nancy Pelosi would get up there and call for unity? I don't. I think she would have gotten up there and said, this is the hate unleashed by this president.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Right now with Galaxy, buy one cabinet, get one free. Visit us online at galaxyhome.com to schedule your free in-home estimate. Save an additional $500 when you book right now.
Finding great candidates to hire can be, well, like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is different. It doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them. With its powerful technology, ZipRecruiter distributes your job everywhere it needs to be to find the right candidates. In fact, over 80% of jobs on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just one day. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, only ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
Used by businesses of all sizes, ZipRecruiter offers the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work for your free trial. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
7:35. Let's check out the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Edens, 21 minutes like Cook to Montrose, but outbound now 32. The Kennedy, a 40-minute drive. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 48. Inbound Eisenhower. It's an hour. Thorndale to downtown, and outbound 53 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 10 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 50 minutes. On Ryan, 27 minutes, 95th to downtown, southbound Lakeshore Drive, really heavy from Hollywood to Montrose, where a crash blocks the right lane. Tri-state delays are northbound and they're heavy. Cicero to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Adams Tollway. Veterans Memorial delays, Boughton most of the way to Roosevelt, and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. Traffic service, Jewel Osco, hit the road with Jewel Osco and Shell. Now through June 27th, earn 4 times gas reward points on selected items. Redeem your rewards for up to 20 cents off per gallon at participating locations. Other restrictions and exclusions apply. Go to jewelosco.com for more details. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte at AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. A pleasant day ahead. Plenty of sunshine. We'll top out at 78, clear skies, and 59 overnight. Currently 58. Next news coming up at 8, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show, a show about the greatest financial crime in history. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, and
make me a cake.
A big religious liberty case adjudicated by the Supreme Court yesterday that dealt a blow to these anti-Catholic, bigoted Blaine amendments that are in state constitutions. Blaine, James Blaine, that's the name, sake for your boys' school. Isn't that nice? That's Chicago. But a blow against such bigotry and for religious liberty. The question is, how will the Obergefell decision that redefined marriage, per Anthony Kennedy's op-ed masquerading as a judicial holding, impact the court's read on the case of Masterpiece Cake Shop versus Colorado Civil Rights Commission, which they are taking up.
Yeah, and the Supreme Court's not going to decide if a baker has to make a cake for a gay couple. And here's the owner of that store. His name is Jack Phillips, and he's describing, Dan, what life has been like since this all started.
As a result of the Civil Rights Commission ruling that I am required now to make cakes for same-sex weddings, rather than do that, we have decided at this point in time, until the court issues a resolve, not to make any wedding cakes. And that has been a very impactful thing in our business. Wedding cakes are probably 40% of our income. And so we've had to make some tremendous adjustments in order to keep the business going. But rather than comply and violate my deeply held religious faith and my constitutionally guaranteed right of free speech and freedom of religion, we've decided, until it's resolved, to stop doing wedding cakes.
And so you have similar cases in a number of states. Arlene's Flowers involving a Washington florist, Baronelle Stutzman we've discussed, as well as the Sweet Cakes by Melissa, which was actually my band name in high school. It was a Heart cover band. But it's also a bakery in Oregon. And you'll remember we discussed this. The owners, Christian bakers from Oregon, of this business, Sweet Cakes by Melissa, Aaron and Melissa Klein, were fined $135,000 for declining to make a cake for a same-sex wedding. The Oregon Bureau of Labor and Industries, talk about a star chamber, found the couple guilty of discrimination and ordered them to pay $135,000 for the mental and emotional damages they caused the lesbian couple who were customers of their shop, and they were happily provided baked goods to them until they wanted them to participate in their same-sex wedding, and based on their religious beliefs, the clients declined, and that was the result. So how does the Supreme Court view religious liberty and the right of free association in an individual's commercial life up against the precedent set by Kennedy and the Obergefell decision? For the answer to that question and others, we're pleased to be joined by Carrie Kupek, who is the legal counsel for the Alliance Defending Freedom. Carrie, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
So what is the argument with respect to those competing interests of religious liberty, free association, with the right of public accommodation, which is essentially the argument made by proponents of forcing these private businesses to participate in commercial transactions they don't want to participate in?
Well, there are a few arguments. For starters, the First Amendment is pretty clear with respect to religious freedom and freedom of speech. These are freedoms that we have cherished in our country since the founding of our nation. And people are very committed to this idea that we don't want the government to force creative professionals and artists to create custom work that violates their conscience and who they are, or at least we used to be as a nation. And because we know that in a truly free society, civil liberties travel together, and you can't just remove one and think that everything's going to be okay. It doesn't work that way. And unfortunately, what we're seeing in the cases that you just described is there is no balance. We're seeing these public accommodation laws trump the Constitution and trump the First Amendment. And in the situation of Barronelle Stutzman, the florist out of Washington State, she stands to lose everything she owns, her home, her retirement, and her life savings, just for declining to create custom floral expression for one same-sex wedding for a longtime customer and friend of 10 years who she had happily served all along. That's clearly a problem. That's not the kind of America that we know, but unfortunately that's what we're seeing. So we're encouraged that the United States Supreme Court has taken the case of Jack Phillips.
When they take this case up in the fall, how do you think they're going to rule?
You know, it's hard to speculate, but I would certainly hope that they would be faithful to the Constitution and make sure that people's freedom of religion and free exercise and speech is preserved. For instance, you know, we wouldn't want to force any artist to speak a message that conflicts with their conscience, and there is Supreme Court precedent like that out there. But people have to remember, this is not just about same-sex marriage. This could happen to anyone of any religion. It could happen, the opposite way. And again, we don't want to live in a country where the government can force artists and creative professionals to create custom work, which violates the very core of who they are, under threat of losing everything that they own.
Do you take any encouragement from the Supreme Court's decision yesterday in Trinity Lutheran? I mean, I know it's not on point, but it does raise the specter of the boundaries of religious liberty.
Yeah, it was great. A 7-2 win. It's always a thing that we're encouraged by, for sure, with respect to religious freedom. And I was particularly encouraged by some of the statements by Chief Justice Roberts, who authored the majority opinion, where he said that to exclude a qualified church from a public benefit is, quote, odious to the Constitution. And he said, look, this is a problem. If in Missouri, the way they were applying the law, it was essentially, if you're a church, you need not apply. And that's, of course, unconstitutional. And so there's some really good language in there. And I think it signals something. It signals that this is a Supreme Court who is going to carefully consider the very crucial freedom, the freedom of religion and the First Amendment, because what's at stake is just too big.
Were you surprised at the travel ban? They uphold parts of the travel ban?
I wasn't surprised, really. The travel ban, I think a lot of the controversy that has surrounded the travel ban has been a little surprising to me. These are countries that are known for terrorist activities. It has nothing to do with religion. If it had to do with religion, there would be a lot more countries on that list. So I was encouraged that the Supreme Court seemed to be taking a logical approach to what's actually happening, especially when we're facing something so serious as we are in this world right now with terrorism and what's going on there.
Now, how does the court's holding in Pavin versus Smith impact your optimism about the court in the Colorado case? In this case, that was kind of underreported because of the importance of the travel ban and the Trinity Lutheran case. The justice reversed the Arkansas Supreme Court, which had declined to order an amended birth certificate issued to a lesbian couple on the same terms on which the state would issue such a certificate for a child born via donor reproduction to an opposite-sex couple. And the Supreme Court said, no, it's okay to issue the birth certificates and treat the lesbian couple as similarly situated to a heterosexual couple in terms of parents, mom and dad. How does that impact potentially the arguments in the Masterpiece Cake Shop Colorado case?
I don't think it impacts it, really, because, again, we're really talking about compelled speech here, compelled expression. Jack has been a cake artist for many years in Colorado. He operates his shop consistent with his Christian convictions. He always has. He has his shop closed on Sundays. He doesn't create custom work for a variety of events that conflict with his faith and his conscience. And so there are some big-time principles of speech here, free speech, free exercise that are at stake that I don't think were at stake in the case that you're just describing. And I think that any artist and creative professional in particular who is to look at the facts of these cases, because we are talking about such a distinctive group of people who create this custom expression, have right to be very much concerned, which is why I think the Supreme Court set this up. There's been a zero-sum game mentality in this country for the last couple of years, that if you are a creative professional or an artist and you simply want to create work consistent with your faith, you can lose everything and be driven out of society. And this country just cannot stand for that. And so I'm hopeful that the Supreme Court will see it as such and uphold the constitutional principles that should apply and protect creative professionals and artists like Jack Phillips.
I'm equally hopeful. She is Carrie Kupek. She is legal counsel for the Alliance Defending Freedom. Carrie, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out. At CNN, we'll explain. And could others follow?
And who should follow first?
What's on second? Oh, I've been waiting to say that. Today, plenty of sunshine, and it's going to be a nice day, a high of 78 degrees. Tonight, clear, a low of 59. And tomorrow, partly sunny with some gusty breeze, and a possible chance of rain. High of 83. Let's get into our alarm detection systems. Traffic Center, busy man yet again today is Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Good morning. On the west side, a double fatal crash happened at Roosevelt and Costner after 1 o'clock this morning. That intersection remains completely closed. Eden's inbound, 21 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound, it's 32 minutes. The inbound Kennedy looking at 40 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 23 from Montrose, 20 in the Express. Outbound, 48 minutes to the airport. The Eisenhower, it's an hour. Thorndale to downtown at 48 minutes from Mannheim. Outbound 53 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 12 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 48 minutes. Ryan is 27 minutes. 95 to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive got a jam from Hollywood to Montrose with a crash there in the right lane. Tri-State northbound, very heavy. Cicero to 31st. Then from the Reagan Tollway to the Adams Tollway, where a crash blocks the left lane. Veterans Memorial slope out most of the way to Roosevelt and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity, sponsored by Upstream-Ideas.com. In 2008, Barack Obama scaled Chicago's big government trafficking operation nationally. The nation got only a small taste of the damage Chicago's RICO-style governance inflicts. Illinois has not been so fortunate. The kleptocratic kingpins who run the city that works you over have relegated Illinois to the status of a cautionary tale as to how a poisonous government-centric culture turns the state into one giant Ponzi scheme. Politics pervades everything in Illinois. The result is that the nation's highest combined state and local tax burden has proven no match for the spending appetites of Pauls who've racked up $250 billion in debt while skipping out on more tabs than Leona Helmsley in her heyday. With collapse in the offing, the Sicarios for Illinois' political crime family seek a federal lifeline in the form of state bankruptcy. Congress should consider removing sovereign immunity protections to make an example of those who turned Illinois into the bad example. Of America's 50 laboratories of democracy, Illinois is the meth lab. If we want to prevent more states from getting hooked on junk governance, the Bernie Madoff treatment should be applied to those who cook the books in Illinois.
You are about to hear from Dr. Douglas Howard.
After 20 years and tens of thousands of success stories, Balance of Nature is still the only pure whole food supplement available. Balance of Nature has served more than 500 million servings of fruits and vegetables. Don't accept imitations, copies, or substitutions. Our success stories are unique to Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. You'll know you have the real thing when you open the bottles and see, smell, and taste real produce.
It is worth every penny I pay because they really have made such a difference in my life. It is making me feel a whole lot better.
Even my doctor thought it was a good product.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you for free. Call now for details.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code CHICAGO.
Message and data rates may apply.
Have you ever forgotten your password? With all the accounts you have and all the rules around passwords, remembering every single one is impossible. That's why millions of people are turning to Dashlane, the award-winning app that protects your passwords and creates an easy, secure way to access all of your accounts.
And right now, you can get access to Dashlane free for life on your favorite device just by texting SECURE to 543-543. Over 6 million users manage their passwords with Dashlane. Over 6,000 companies trust Dashlane. And over 70,000 reviews give it a 5-star rating. But the only number that really matters? 0. Because that's how many times you'll forget your passwords using Dashlane. With Dashlane, your passwords are never misplaced and never forgotten. Simple, safe, secure. Unlock free access to Dashlane on your favorite device for life right now. Just text SECURE to 543-543. That's SECURE to 543-543.
Only a real professional insurance agent can determine if you're properly insured. If you have a family, is your family covered to protect them if the unexpected happens? Hi, I'm John Luzzo, and if you're like most people, you're probably due for a review of your coverage. Many of my new clients were pleasantly surprised when they switched to Allstate. With their former carrier, their rates had significantly increased even though their driving record was excellent. Please do not make the mistake of online insurance that may give you a lower price because you're not receiving the appropriate coverage. The John Luzzo Allstate Agency has been supporting Chicagoland for nearly a decade with auto, home, and life. So if you're looking for a like-minded agent who prides himself on educating his customers and has your best interest at heart, Google John Luzzo Allstate. That's Luzzo, or call 708-385-5300. That's 708-385-5300. I'm John Luzzo, and I look forward to speaking with you.
It's no secret buying a new vehicle can be a huge stressor. Trying to decide between what you like, what best fits your budget, and choosing the right dealership can create downright anxiety. Well, take a breath because Joe Cotton Ford has you covered. Buying your next vehicle from Joe Cotton Ford is a different experience. They promise no hassles, no drama, no high-pressure sales tactics, period. What's the Joe Cotton Ford difference? Well, they're a local business that cares about building a relationship with you, your family, and the community. They're not just another car dealer looking to churn and burn the next customer who walks in the door. Just ask Tracy Kahn, Vice President, General Manager, and Carol Stream, Citizen of the Year. He sets the high standards for the Joe Cotton Ford team, which volunteers hundreds of hours of community service every year. Get to Joe Cotton Ford today and drive home your new Ford car, truck, or SUV. You'll receive white glove service in a relaxed setting. Gary and North Avenue in Carroll Stream or at joecottonford.com. That's joecottonford.com.
A good parking lot is essential to a good building and a good business.
This is Kevin Berquist. My company is SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. Great parking lots. The name says it all. We make your parking lot great. We are an industry leader in seal coating. You can trust our company to do the work for your company. We have the same traditional values as you. We use a process and application that makes sure you get a great job that lasts a long time. I guarantee you'll have a good experience. Go to our website, greatparkinglots.com. Check it out, greatparkinglots.com.
Go to greatparkinglots.com. Schedule a free inspection and get a quote to make your parking lot a great parking lot. Save the expense. Fix, don't replace. Contact SKC Construction now for commercial parking lot seal coating and maintenance. SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. GreatParkingLots.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Bob Aument, a founding partner of the law firm of Dassman & Aument and longtime personal customer of Signature Bank. Our firm recently left one of the larger banks to bank with Signature Bank, and it's been a refreshing change. With Signature Bank, we've been able to tailor banking solutions that fit the specific needs of our firm. Beyond that, Signature Bank is responsive, efficient, and timely in meeting those needs. If I have a request, I pick up the phone and talk to Mick O'Rourke, not someone at a phone bank thousands of miles away. Dassman & Aument needed more than what the larger banks offer, and we found that with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
So a few heads rolled over at CNN after they had to retract a story that accused Anthony Scaramucci, who's a There you go. You got to do that. You have to.
Hey, Anthony Scaramucci.
Right. That
Why
guy.
you busting my onions over here?
That's what he said to CNN in not so many words.
Exactly.
And he's an investment banker. They connected him to a Russian investment fund run by a bank controlled by the Kremlin. But that individual unnamed congressional source they used, that turned out to be wrong.
Yeah, so it was fake news. And so they resigned instead of getting fired. That's how that normally works. After the article was retracted. And President Trump this morning has responded. He said, fake news CNN is looking at big management changes now that they got caught falsely publishing their phony Russian stories. Ratings way down, exclamation point. And then he said, so they caught fake news CNN and cold. But what about NBC, CBS, and ABC? What about the failing New York Times and Washington Post? They are all fake news, exclamation point.
That's a long tweet. An internal CNN investigation found that normal editorial processes weren't followed in the story's editing and publication. Only one anonymous source was used.
Yeah, you always need to. It's journalism 101.
Fact checkers not utilized before publication. Well, why? You're storytelling. You're not news reporting. You're fulminating. You're not fact producing. That's the difference.
Never let the truth get in the way of a good story.
New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, they have all had instances, major stories that had to be wholly rescinded. And oh, by the way, this is the second one on Russia. The previous one on Russia, effectively, the collusion investigation, was the report by Gloria Bulger, and some of the names that you see on TV that haven't suffered the professional repercussions of these behind-the-scenes people that reported that Jim Comey was going to disavow Trump's contention in his termination correspondence, that Comey told him 3 times that he was not under investigation. And in fact, and instead, Comey went before Congress and said precisely the opposite. He confirmed Trump's contention that Comey had told him 3 times he was not under investigation. And so, when is Gloria Vanderbilt's kid going to go? When's your girlfriend Don Lemon going to go? Because they are all the mouthpieces that promulgate and amplify these storytelling gambits that that CNN produces from their back office folks.
So you think more heads are going to roll?
No, I don't. I'm saying they should, just for fun. I mean, I think Brooke Baldwin, that Carol Costello wannabe.
Carol Costello. Oh, yeah.
Aaron Burnett.
Aaron Burnett show's hard to watch. She's not good.
They're just, Fareed Zakaria. CNN keeps losing personnel, too. They lost that Muslim guy who had a show after he went, ape nuts on Trump.
And quickly, Jim Acosta yesterday went a little crazy on Sean Spicer. Real quick.
Does he still believe the bill is Jane? Sean, can you answer whether the president still believes the question?
There's no camera on, Jim.
Well, maybe we should turn the cameras on, Sean. Why don't we turn the cammers on?
Jen.
Why don't we turn the cameras on?
I'm sorry that you have to do. Jen.
They've had another White House briefing, just audio only. It's so strange. The cameras are there.
No, that's fine.
Turn them
hey,
on.
Jim, go turn your camera on just outside the White House press room. You can turn your camera on wherever you want outside of where the space that we control, Jim. That's how it works. Gosh, I'd hate to see Jim Acosta go, too.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Randy Barnett, Georgetown Law at 8:08.
But here is Mike Scott.
A police officer, one of 2 killed in a West Side crash. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
Syria denies it. Russia calls it unacceptable. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Those are reactions to a U.S. warning to Syria about possibly prepping for another chemical weapons attack. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
In a statement from the press secretary, the White House warns that if Syrian President Bashar al-Assad conducts another mass murder attack using chemical weapons, he and his military will pay a heavy price. Fox News has learned that Pentagon is seeing new activity at a known aircraft hangar long associated with chemical weapons at a Syrian airbase. After Assad allegedly used chemical weapons in April, the Navy fired 59 Tomahawk cruise missiles at that same airbase his government had apparently used to launch that attack. The April chemical attack in Syria killed dozens of civilians. Dave?
John, Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell keeps trying to unite GOP senators on the bill to replace Obamacare. 5 oppose it.
This is such a bad bill that even his legislative wizardry is having a rough time.
Democratic leader Chuck Schumer.
The biggest question on Capitol Hill right now is not whether or not they have the votes to pass the bill.
It's whether or not they can even get the votes to call the bill up to the floor. And right now, there are 4 Republican senators who are opposed to even launching the debate.
That's Fox's Chad Pergram at the Capitol. Bill Cosby's dealing with another accuser. A hearing today in California will set a trial date in a civil suit.
He's accused of sexually assaulting Judy Huth at the Playboy Mansion more than 40 years ago when she was just 15. The hearing comes less than 2 weeks after a jury deadlocked on criminal charges that Cosby drugged and molested Andrea Constand at his suburban Philadelphia home in 2004. Pennsylvania prosecutors have vowed to retry him.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. The U.S. Navy paid tribute today to 7 sailors killed when their ship collided with a cargo ship off the coast of Japan. A few thousand sailors and their families lined the streets, waved flags at a ceremony near Tokyo. Why the ship's crash is still being investigated. Fox News, fair and balanced.
58 degrees and sunny skies. It's 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. In the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom, Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. An off-duty Chicago police officer, one of 2, killed when a 2-vehicle crash occurred on the west side. It happened early this morning, and police investigating say the spot was Roosevelt and Costner. Both victims died at the scene. The collision again remains under investigation. Chicago police are investigating after a woman was found dead by crews responding to a fire on the south side early this morning inside a garage near 48th and Bishop. The victim's body was discovered inside that garage. The woman, according to investigators, is believed to be in her 50s. A search continues to find the driver involved in a deadly crash in Chicago's River North neighborhood. Authorities say a Nissan was speeding on Ontario Street yesterday when it slammed into a utility pole, burst apart, and burst into flames at Orleans. Female passenger died at the scene. The man driving that vehicle ran off. The victim, identified as Alejandra Damian of Joliet. No one is in custody after a 13-year-old boy was shot and killed on Chicago's south side. Teen gunned down last night in the backyard of a home near 103rd Place and Morgan. Cubs escape with a 5-4 win over the Nationals in the opener of a 4-game set in Washington. Pretty good one tonight. Nationals and Cubs, Jake Arrieta and Max Scherzer. Yankees hold on to top the White Sox 6-5 in the first of a 4-game set. And the Florida Gators are a win away from their first National College Baseball Championship, beating LSU in the College World Series last night, 4-3. The news, a service of the CDC's Doing It HIV testing campaign. It's fast, free, and confidential. Make HIV testing part of your routine. Time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, a service of Turnkey.pro, here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Sprint could be offering cell phone service and a package deal with cable and internet. The Wall Street Journal says Sprint is in talks with Charter Communications and Comcast. Charter and Comcast could invest in improving Sprint's network in exchange for a deal to offer wireless service. Google's parent company is facing a record fine from European antitrust regulators, more than $2.5 billion. Google's accused of abusing its dominance as a search engine by pushing shoppers to its own service in violation of antitrust rules. Google says it will review the decision and consider an appeal, that it respectfully disagrees with the conclusions. Darden Restaurants, the parent company of Olive Garden and the Capitol Grill, is reporting better than expected earnings and sales for the spring quarter. The Dow was up 14 yesterday. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Jenny Cosola.
It's 8:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity doesn't see the dots connecting.
There is a clear and present danger that the country is now facing, and I'm calling it a soft coup. You have the whole Russia collusion. They're now saying no evidence of Russian collusion. Okay, so what do we have? And, well, we can't get them here. Well, now we'll move on to, is there obstruction?
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
With Quicken Loans, the outdated and complicated mortgage process is a thing of the past. Our simple process helps you understand all the details so you can be confident that you're getting the right mortgage. Take your mortgage to the next level and call 800-QUICKEN or go completely online with Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. No matter how you prefer to work with us, we've got what you need to get you through the mortgage process with ease. For 7 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the 3rd year in a row, they also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. Whether you're looking to purchase or refinance, now is the time. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.875%, APR 4.23%. Call 800-QUICKEN or get started online at rocketmortgage.com. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
8:06. Let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the west side, the intersection of Roosevelt and Costner remains closed after that overnight wreck. Tri-State Tollway, where you see big delays on the northbound side from 115th to 87th, and especially from the Reagan Tollway to the Adams Tollway. The crash in the left lane. Southbound, it's now heavy from 132 in Gurnee to the Lake Forest Oasis. The Adams Tollway's good. Reagan Tollway so Farnsworth to Eola, Yackley to 355, and then Highland to the Tri-State. Veterans Memorial heavy, Boughton most of the way to Roosevelt, and the Army Trail toll to 290. Edens runs 20 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 33. Kennedy, 40 minutes, so O'Hare to downtown, no savings in the Express, outbound 41. The Eisenhower, an hour and 7 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, 47 minutes from Manheim, outbound 59 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 12 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 48 minutes. Bryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, very heavy, Hollywood to Montrose after a crash. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
A sunny day today, high 77, clear night of 59, partly sunny with a gusty breeze. Tomorrow, high 83, then mostly cloudy and breezy. Tomorrow night, watch for severe thunderstorm in the evening, which could bring flash flooding and damaging winds, low 69. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 58. Next news at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Financial Planning with Jack Taboda, your 401k rollover specialist. Heard Saturday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So I would say a partial victory for the Trump administration and, the constitutional authority that the executive has to regulate immigration in this country. A partial victory handed the Trump administration by the Supreme Court yesterday, but a complete loss to listen to the bloviations from the left, including from Senator Ed Markey, liberal from Massachusetts, on purposely mischaracterizing what the executive order was in the first place, because this is the narrative.
I'm disappointed that the court just didn't rule that a Muslim ban in and of itself is unconstitutional. That goes right to the heart of the Statue of Liberty, staring at the Trump Tower in New York City every single day in terms of what it stands for. But this first decision with regard to the overreach for businesses, for family members, for students coming to the country, that's good, but it still doesn't deal with this fundamental flaw in the Trump order, which is that at its heart, it is a Muslim ban.
It's not. It's that is so silly what Ed Markey. I mean, this is why you have what you have coming out of Congress. And this is why they abdicate their lawmaking responsibilities to the Supreme Court. That is absurd. Number one, it's not a Muslim ban. Number two, the Supreme Court was adjudicating a stay that was issued by the Fourth and Ninth Circuits on the matter, and they've agreed to review the rules that will be offered in advance of the travel ban, the temporary travel ban, this fall. So we'll see if they ever have to take that up. Number three, just point of order for Senator Markey. As lovely as Emma Lazarus's poem is at the base of the Statue of Liberty, that is not part of the United States Constitution. I don't know how to break it to you.
And what it means now is that if you have a family member here, if you are attending a university or have a job here in America, then you can still come over here. You'll still be vetted, but not a 90-day process.
Right, which is the Supreme Court legislating an exemption that wasn't there. That's not in the black letter verbiage of the executive order. And that was a problem for Alito, Gorsuch, and Thomas, but those three don't constitute a majority. For more on this decision, as well as the Trinity Lutheran decision, we're pleased to be joined by our friend Randy Barnett. He is Georgetown law professor. He's also the author of the new book, Our Republican Constitution, Securing the Liberty and Sovereignty of We the People. Professor Barnett, thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Jan. Good morning, Amy.
So how did you interpret the Supreme Court's decision on the executive order?
First of all, the traffic report made me nostalgic for Chicago.
Sure.
The Ed Markey, but the Ed Markey clip did not make me nostalgic for Boston, Massachusetts, unfortunately. So I guess on balance, I'm happy to be here in D.C. I agreed with everything you said, Dan. I think that's an accurate characterization. The court didn't pass upon the constitutionality of the restrictions, whatever, such as they are, however you want to characterize them. It only passed on the permissibility of the stay, which the lower court used its equitable powers to issue, and the Supreme Court used its equitable powers to modify. However, I do think that the way it modified the stay and it telegraphs something very important about how a majority of the court views the merits. And that is one of the big issues about the case is whether people abroad with no ties to the United States, or just to say whether people abroad have standing to assert a constitutional violation when they are denied access to the United States. The stay, the stay that was ended, it indicates that the majority of the court believes that people with no connections with the United States do not have standing to contest this executive order on constitutional grounds. That's the reason why the injunction is lifted with respect to them. The court seems to indicate that the people with a connection to the United States do have standing, but that indicates that unless you can show a connection, you can't litigate this, and that would mean that the president is free. If that's true, if those tea leaves are right, that means the president is free to exercise the discretion he's been given by Congress to restrict immigration in a variety of ways, and it cannot be challenged on constitutional grounds by people with no connection to the United States.
But the ACLU argues that,
and that's it. It's a mic drop answer from Randy Barnett, and he's out of here.
That was kind of a violent mic
He
drop.
answered the question, and that's it. That's all. Hey, there's nothing more to say on the matter. We'll try and effort Randy Barnett back here somehow. We lost
I hope
connection.
he's okay. I mean, that sounded that click kind of hurt my ears. What about you?
I think he was offended by the setup to your question, and
I
he's
say
not having it.
I say ACLU, and he says bye-bye.
He's very much like a Supreme Court justice. He will cut you off. He doesn't have to listen to your pablum about the ACLU. All right. I think we have Randy Barnett back.
Do I dare start with ACLU?
Professor Barnett, are you back?
Are you okay?
We won't say ACLU anymore.
I do not know what happened.
Okay.
Ed Markey, I riled the Ed Markey guy.
So the American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU, said that, this is discrimination against one religion. What say you?
The order doesn't do that. It doesn't say that. The only way that they get to that theory is by judging the intent of the president on the basis of his tweets that he made and comments that he made during the presidential campaign when he was not the president. I think it's unlikely that the court In fact, one of the things that's also noteworthy about the per curiam opinion the court issued is it doesn't say a single thing about any of those tweets today. It doesn't say a single thing about President Trump's messages when he was a candidate, Trump.
Well, will that be submitted into court or tried to be admitted into court? His social media.
The whole basis of the challenge is that this travel restrictions, which is not geared to being Muslim at all, it's applied to 7 countries that the Obama administration also had concerns about. The whole basis of it is that Trump has bad intent. The evidence for that is the statements made during the campaign and some of his tweets. So yes, the challengers will be arguing that that's relevant, and then the court's going to have to decide whether those statements are relevant to assessing the constitutionality of this executive order. And my guess is they're going to hold that it's not. You can't look at those kinds of statements to assess whether the president's exercising his statutory powers or not.
And importantly, as you pointed out, I'm translating for those who didn't go to private school and don't know Latin. Per curiam, unanimous. It was unanimous essentially on that point. So that spans a pretty wide, fairly wide parameters in terms of the ideological composition of the court.
Well, it was unanimous. A per curiam opinion is an opinion that doesn't have any identifiable author. It is an opinion of the court as a whole, as you say.
Right.
All that was at issue here was accepting cert. That means taking the case, and whether the injunction would be lifted or stayed or partially stayed. So that's all that the opinion is about, and the rest of it will be decided in the fall.
But now,
and the 90-day review period was allowed to proceed, and it now will proceed. By the time fall comes around, we don't know whether the case will be mooted because there won't really be anything to evaluate because after the 90-day review period, there's probably going to be another set of rules,
right?
That are going to be implemented.
But let me ask you this: in terms of that exemption we talked about, that the court essentially included about the relationships that aliens may have with close relatives or scholars whose exclusion would deprive their contributions to American universities and so forth. Are you at all concerned that persons that have connections, have bona fide relationships, to use the court's language, are sort of conferred legal standing by proxy?
Yeah, I think it is a potentially troublesome development. I agree with that. But standing to challenge a decision is not the same thing as standing to be admitted into the country. I think that's all that's really been telegraphed by this, is that they can challenge it, and that's because there are people in the United States who are affected by the rule. The relatives in the United States are affected by the rule. The universities in the United States who have admitted students are affected by the rule. They're the ones that really confer the standing to challenge a ban on people who are outside the country. It's not that the people outside the country have standing under this reasoning.
I want to switch over to the religious freedom case, Trinity Lutheran, the issue of church being able to apply for grant funding for their playground. 7-2 decision there. So it included some of the more liberal justices, a victory for religious freedom. But there's still this now pending case that will be taken up in the fall, Masterpiece Cake Shop versus Colorado. And I wonder where you think religious liberty is going when you have conflicting decisions like Trinity Lutheran with the operation of government at the local level with respect to people who don't want to participate in same-sex marriages, marriage ceremonies professionally, whether they be a baker or a photographer or a florist.
Well, before we get to the future case, this present case, you need to stop and look at what a big victory the present case was for religious liberty. The issue is really a lot of states have, quite a few states have constitutional provisions which were called Blaine amendments that were initially passed in the 19th century as anti-Catholic measures. reason which prohibits any government money to go from going to any church or religious institution. The reason why these were anti-Catholic measures is because the Protestants controlled the government schools. They controlled the public schools. I mean, I was in Calumet City, Illinois, going to cover public school. I was a shepherd in the annual Christmas pageant at Christmas time.
Really?
The Protestants controlled this. Yeah, the Protestants controlled, and I'm Jewish, so I got to kneel at the manger of the baby Jesus when I was in public school. I mean, it was something I volunteered to do. Nobody made me do it.
Right.
But so Protestants controlled the public schools, and it was Catholics that needed to form their own school systems. And these Blaine amendments were put into state constitutions to prevent that from happening, prevent Catholics from taking advantage of the same kind of tax money that people who go to government schools get. Anyway, that's what it was at issue with this case, Trinity Lutheran, as to whether a religious school would be prohibited from receiving money that was available to other schools to take tire bits and soften their playground for the safety of their kids. There was a program to distribute recycled tires that have been chopped up so that it creates a softer playground surface, and Trinity Lutheran applied for that. They were very highly ranked in the competitive process, but were denied the funding because they were a religious institution, and the Supreme Court 7-2, as you said that's unconstitutional, that is an infringement on their free exercise of religion to discriminate against them, and that there's no establishment clause problem. It is not establishing a religion to allow a religious school to apply for government money that everybody else is eligible for. So this was a major victory, and it also translates over into the school choice movement because it means, once again, it reemphasizes the fact that it is not unconstitutional for religious schools to accept government money vouchers under a school choice program that a state might undertake, like Wisconsin has, for example.
But if they, made this unprecedented ruling to protect religious freedom, what do you think it means for the cake maker and the photographer who want to exercise their religious freedom and not help out at same-sex weddings?
Well, it's a completely different issue. And I don't think one particularly tells us much of anything about how the other will be decided, frankly. So the issue with the photographer or cake baker really isn't necessarily all just religious liberty. There are many issues in that case besides religious liberty. One of them is whether you can be forced to express yourself. There is a First Amendment doctrine against compelled expression. The people that are objecting to participating in gay weddings are not people who are objecting to selling products to gay couples. In fact, the particular cake shop here did not object to that. They objected to actually having to participate in writing a message that would endorse the ceremony that they objected to on moral grounds. That is a free expression claim as much as it is a religious liberty claim. And it's completely different than whether you can serve or refuse to serve if you're a public accommodation gay people in your establishment, which this person did not refuse to do.
Yeah, right. State public accommodation laws versus the First Amendment. I don't know. With Kennedy still in the court, I'm not so optimistic. But Trinity Lutheran, I mean, maybe if it gets the school that Amy's kids go to take down the name of that Catholic bigot after which the school is named, then
James G. Blaine.
Yeah, then maybe we've got something going in this country. All right, he is Professor Randy Barnett, Georgetown law professor, author of the book Our Republican Constitution: Securing the Liberty and Sovereignty of We the People. Randy, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
It was my pleasure.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
It's absolutely amazing that the combination of these capsules improves your health. It does tell you the value of food and nutrition.
I actually can feel a difference. I really can.
I love the product. It's wonderful. I can't live without it.
It's really helping me. Every time I take it, my body says, thank you.
This is the first winter that I went through that I didn't get a cold.
I love my fruits and veggies. I'm a line dancer, and I just turned 78, and it has made a big difference in my stamina and just my overall well-being, and I have so enjoyed them. I just love taking them and what they do for me.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
Hey, how would you like to have insurance for your computer network? Something to protect your hardware and software, and more importantly, give you peace of mind so you could sleep once you get off work. Well, using Turnkey IT for installation and support of your systems is like having insurance for your computer network. For one affordable monthly payment, your company gets a full team of certified technicians who are there. They're working in the background to ensure your systems are up and running. They'll help you over the phone or make house calls to your workplace. And Turnkey IT doesn't wait until there's an emergency call because they work hard to take preventative measures. Turnkey IT can protect you and your network with the Turnkey experience. What's that? Well, everything included: Office 365 hosting, advanced network protection, cloud backup, disaster recovery, and unlimited remote and on-site support. So find out what Turnkey IT can do for your company today. Just visit turnkey.pro. That's turnkey.pro.
Many of our listeners are ready to transition into a quality and worry-free retirement. Here's Mike Gibbons of the Gibbons Financial Group.
Thanks, Dan. Last year, we brought you our complimentary Social Security maximization planning, allowing listeners an optimal claiming strategy. While this was invaluable to many of you, proper planning should regard the totality of income through market movements. Our software will show you how to maximize retirement income. We'll also show you possible scenarios that could reduce your future income. This level of planning detail typically costs upwards of $1,500, but for AM 560 listeners, we're offering it at no cost. So if you're considering retirement, go to retiremetoday.com to view our retirement readiness video, or call Gibbons Financial Group at 224-419-5550 for your complimentary analysis. It's your future. That's retiremetoday.com or call 224-419-5550.
Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. If your roof is needy, if your roof is leaky,
call Grumweedy.
If your roof isn't right after it's stormy and shingles are curly,
call Grumweedy.
If your roof is looking needy, call Crumweedy. This is Mark Olson of Crumweedy.
And I'm Greg Olson from Crumweedy. We are a third-generation family-run business. We've been doing Chicagoland roofs since 1953.
You really can't do that unless you do really amazing roofs. We share the same conservative values as you, and we really want to do your roof. Here's what you can expect.
First, no high pressure. You make the choice. Whatever option you choose, count on getting a roof that lasts at a fair price.
You see, application is really the key. We follow the manufacturer's specifications so your warranty is intact. You know, a lot of companies don't do that, and that could really void your warranty.
No horror stories here. The roof you need that will fix your problems. When your roof is needy,
call Grumweedy.
For your needy roof, go to myroofisneedy.com. myroofisneedy.com.
I used to play a lot of sports in college, but when I got older, my legs started to burn and ache, making it hard to work out. Then I noticed those varicose and spider veins. I couldn't believe it. I thought this only happened to my mom and her friends.
The professionals at Vein Clinics of America have performed over 1 million personalized procedures for their patients, making them the largest, most experienced vein treatment center in the U.S. Using state-of-the-art laser and minimally invasive treatments, they can begin restoring your legs back to health in as little as 1 hour with no downtime, and most treatments are covered by insurance.
I called Vein Clinics of America, and they fixed my legs. No more ugly veins. Now I can run and do squats again.
Guys, get back in the game. Call now and schedule a free fast-track consultation with one of our doctors and learn how you can finally get rid of those embarrassing varicose and spider veins. Space is limited, so call now. 800-402-0707. That's 800-402-0707. 800-402-0707.
AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy, just a little international roundup. Did you see, Amy, Brazil's president, Michel Temer, has been indicted for taking bribes.
Oh, no, really?
This is after Dilma Rousseff, the previous president, was removed from office. So you've got, if you put Michel Temer Dilma Rousseff, Christina Kirchner from Argentina, also deposed, and Park Geun-hye from South Korea, who was arrested and taken the first female president of South Korea. If you put those 4 in a state, then you'd have Illinois.
It'd be perfect.
And here's something else from the Wall Street Journal. Hey, Puerto Rico's for sale. This is relevant to you with Puerto Rican children.
Right, and they're all going to They're already going to the homeland this summer, all of them.
Here's what Puerto Rico is doing, bankrupt Puerto Rico. They are seeking bids in the coming months for private companies to operate or improve seaports, regional airports, water meters, student housing, traffic fine collections, parking spaces, and a passenger ferry because the government has completely collapsed. Maybe somebody could buy their territory status and gift it to Illinois so we could get a congressional reorg here like Puerto Rico's getting.
That'd be good. Sounds like Mayor Daley. They're going to sell things off. Like how Mayor Daley sold off the parking meters and the Skyway.
Well,
or is it a little different?
Well, Mitch Daniels sold the Skyway, and he sold it for a mint for Indiana. Richie Daley allowed Chicago to get fleeced on the parking meter deal. So the quality of the deal matters.
Okay. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll score the CBO scoring of Obamacare and Obamacare replacement at 8:38.
And she's the love of his life. Ivanka Trump responds to a question about her dad's tweeting. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
59 degrees in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. The Congressional Budget Office says the Senate health care bill would leave about 22 million Americans without health insurance by 2026. That has the American Medical Association joining more than a dozen other medical groups in voicing some opposition to the bill. Republican Senator John McCain.
We're going to continue conversations. We're going to listen to the debate and then decide.
Senate Republican leaders hope to get a final vote on that bill by the end of this week. The Supreme Court is allowing parts of the Trump immigrant travel ban to take effect before it considers challenges to the ban in the fall. The president's orders bars those from 6 Muslim-majority nations from entering the U.S. for 90 days. The European Union is fining Google more than $2.7 billion for skewing search results. It's the biggest fine the EU has ever imposed. An off-duty Chicago police officer is one of 2 dead following a 2-vehicle crash on the west side. The accident happened early this morning near Roosevelt and Costner, and both victims died at the scene. The Lansing Police Department investigating after a video surfaced online showing an off-duty police officer holding down a teenage boy. Footage was taken Saturday outside of the officer's Lansing home. The officer can be heard using profanity as he pins down the 15-year-old. Authorities investigating say the boy had just been involved in a major fight, and the officer was detaining him until on-duty officers arrived. Cubs over the Nationals 5-4. Yankees over the White Sox 6-5. The news service of the CDC's Doing It HIV testing campaign. Everyone's doing it. Everyone testing for HIV. Lead by example. Knowing your HIV status allows you to stay healthy. Fast, free, confidential. Make HIV testing part of your routine. 8:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher sees momentum still on the side of President Trump.
I was encouraging you to go out and vote on Georgia's 6th, but something else happened yesterday. There's something that I think is a little bit unanticipated. This has been a huge game changer for President Trump. Momentum is important. He has had a lot of wins at his face. Suddenly, he's got some wind at his back.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
When I heard of Balance of Nature, and I said, because I had prayed, Lord, how am I going to get all this food into me that's so good to me? That's when I called. Now I know that I get my fruits and my vegetables into me, and I don't have to work so hard. I know that I am getting the proper things into my body. I do believe that if I didn't have this already in my body, my Balance of Nature, it wouldn't have gone so good for me. But because my body was healthy, that's what kept me going.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you free. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
8:35. Let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Telemonti.
Thanks, Mike. On Chicago's west side, the intersection of Roosevelt and Costa remains closed after a double fatal overnight wreck. Heavy delays on the northbound tri-state, 115th to 87th, the mile-long bridge 31st, Reagan Tollway to North Avenue with a crash in the right lane. It's heavy approaching the Adams Tollway after an earlier collision. Southbound delays from 132 to Lake Forest Oasis. The Edens is 19 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, up on 31. The Kennedy, 52 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 42 from Montrose, 36 on the Express, outbound 41 minutes to the airport. The Eisenhower, an hour and 2 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, 41 minutes from Manheim, outbound 54 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 10 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40 minutes. Ryan, 26 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, heavy Lawrence to North Avenue. The delays on the Reagan Tollway from Highland to the Tri-State, the Veterans Memorial, Boughton to the Reagan Tollway, and North Avenue to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. A pleasant day ahead. Plenty of sunshine and a high near 78. Mainly clear and 59 overnight. Currently 60 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
More of Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy comes your way now. And make sure to join me, Larry Elder, tonight at 7, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, the question, does the CBO, the Nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office, scoring of the Obamacare replacement legislation in the Senate, does that matter to you in terms of your support or opposition? Or do you see this as just a cover for people opposed to any replacement of Obamacare? This will be a crutch that they use. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line.
So the CBO report came out saying that 22 million will be uninsured by 2026, but keep in mind 15 million will lose insurance because individual mandates will go away.
Yeah,
they're not being forced to buy health insurance. Right, the
right.
individual mandate, not individuals, but the individual mandate's going to go away. So a lot of people don't want to spend what's essentially a car payment for health insurance, and then the premiums are so high, and then the deductibles are outrageous. So they're going to sit this one out. They don't want health insurance.
Yeah, I mean, a friend, well, at least at current plan structures, including the pricing. A friend of mine, he's got 2 girls, $2,000 a month, $15,000 deductible.
Oh, what?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's what Tom Price and others have said.
It's a mortgage payment.
You have an insurance plan, but you can't use it effectively financially. So, what are we talking about? Largely paying out of pocket, except in the
catastrophic injury.
Right? Yeah. Right. If you have a catastrophic event or somebody in your family does, but that was the idea of insurance in the first place.
Yeah, but I've got a friend on our street. I won't say his name, but works at the Piggery. He had a massive heart attack. Never had insurance.
What's the Piggery?
It's a restaurant bar.
Oh.
It's the Piggery.
I don't know.
It's a great restaurant. You should go.
No.
Irving and Ashland. And
too far north.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You don't go north of Division. You're like in a foreign country. But he,
I literally.
He total bills $165,000. He doesn't have insurance, and he said, "I don't know. I have no idea how I would ever pay that down."
Let's just do a little bit of context on the CBO, too. Mm-hmm. This from the Commonwealth Fund, an analysis of their predictions about Obamacare. This analysis finds the CBO overestimated marketplace enrollment by 30% and marketplace cost by 28%, while it underestimated Medicaid enrollment by about 14%, which is one of the reasons it missed marketplace cost by 28% because of the Medicaid costs that the federal government was picking up at the clip of 90%, at least in the first few years. So that's Obamacare. That's the CBO score there. Also, essentially, the CBO was off by 24 million. So Bernie Sanders says there's 22 million reasons to oppose the GOP's plan to replace Obamacare. Well, by that logic, there were 24 million reasons to oppose Obamacare in the first place if you're going to use these specious CBO standards and dubious forecasts to make a policy decision.
Yeah, I mean, and so many senators, Republican senators, are running away from this or just saying they're not going to vote. But Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin said, you know what? Let's push back the vote. I mean, if the votes are there, why call it to the Senate floor?
I would like to delay the thing. There's no way we should be voting on this next week. No way.
Yeah, there's no, I mean, he was on Sunday, but don't you agree, Dan? I mean, if the votes are there, why even vote?
If the votes are not there.
Right.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's an eternity between now and the end of the week. And look, you have to move or not move on this at some point. Because if you don't move on it, then you're not going to get it replaced, and then you're going to have the continued collapse of the marketplace because you're going to be under this essentially Obamacare regime where a third of the counties in this country have a single health insurance provider. That's the competitive model that you want to default to? I'd suggest not. By the way, there are other models that could be used, particularly for high risk, since that's the issue that the Democrats demagogue so much. There's a good piece by Ted Nickel, who's the insurance commissioner for the state of Washington. I ran Wisconsin's successful high-risk pool before Obamacare. It actually worked. Prior to the ACA, Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, Wisconsin consumers could choose from over 20 individual insurance companies offering coverage in our state. They included not-for-profit, nonprofit companies, HMOs and PPOs, and local and national insurers. There were a variety of plan options to meet a range of coverage needs. Individuals denied coverage would receive coverage from Wisconsin's high-risk pool known as the Health Insurance Risk Sharing Plan. Their plan provided Wisconsin consumers with peace of mind by providing high-quality, comprehensive coverage to more than 20,000 cheeseheads. And unlike the current Obamacare market, where most people must wait until open enrollment to purchase coverage, consumers could enroll in this savings account, high-risk sharing pool plan, at any time. No pre-existing condition limits for people signing up. And if consumers had no prior coverage, they would receive coverage for most conditions, but had to wait 6 months for pre-existing conditions. So, again, if you look to, rather than perpetuating failed centrally planned models, you look to states and see are there models that could be scaled, something that's working well. And perhaps Wisconsin has such a model, particularly in the context of a state that is enjoying a budget surplus after cutting taxes and expanding school choice and making the business climate more friendly in Wisconsin, particularly in comparison to Illinois, which has tripled down on central planning. So it's just worth noting this doesn't have to be kind of an esoteric laboratory experiment. You can look around and see models that could be replicated and or scaled that address certain gaps in the health insurance marketplace if you want to provide essentially a floor or a safety net for certain individuals per their health insurance and thus health care needs. That's one way to do it. The other way to do it is the way that the Democrat Party did it with Obamacare. Rich in Rosemont, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. I don't believe that our government should be in the healthcare business in the first place. It's going to bankrupt the country. We're probably already bankrupt. Point number two is McConnell walked the bill over to K Street. So I believe our politicians have sold out to the insurance companies and their lobbyists. So they're only satisfying that group because that's where they get a lot of their money for campaigning through those donations.
Yeah, but Rich, so would you oppose or want the government to get out of providing Medicare?
Well, we're sucked into that. There's no way we can get out of Medicare
Well.
and Medicaid. I believe that we should just repeal Obamacare and then set up special pools for high-risk people and Medicaid and Medicare. But we should allow the majority of the people, I think 80% of the American public should be able to buy insurance across state lines and just let the free market do what it's supposed to do.
Thanks for the call, Rich. Here's the thing. If you don't believe in government-directed health insurance, then you have to address Medicare and Medicaid because that produces externalities throughout the system, with the government being the largest purchaser of health insurance, healthcare services, I should say, in this country just because of Medicare and Medicaid prior to Obamacare. So you're going, here's the end result, whether you want to confront this reality or not. You're going to have some kind of hybrid in this country. So do you want to die on this hill that it has to be a straight repeal of Obamacare despite all the tax repeals, despite the repeal of the individual and employer mandates, that it has to be subsidy-free otherwise, just high-risk pools like Wisconsin has? Or would you accept something along the lines of what the House produced and what the Senate has offered up? That's the question. This kind of debate society question about even the one I asked, should Medicare be repealed? Well, it's not going to happen. What do you want to do in the short term as a step to a freer, more moral, more efficient, more affordable health insurance system in this country? That's the question. Chuck in Delavan.
Hey, I got to tell you something. The Wisconsin senator, him and Ryan, never had their cheerleading skirt on for Trump. I don't know why they don't want to fall in line. As far as that congressional office saying that 22 million people are going to lose their insurance, I've always worked for companies that have taken and paid good insurance benefits. So the thing is that if you want good insurance, you get up to go to work every day and you work hard and you go to work for a company that's going to pay you good insurance benefits. That's part of your salary. The problem is there's people that have never worked a day in their life and they feel as though they're entitled to insurance. And that's what's wrong, and that's what people don't get, and that's why when you compare me, a hard worker, to somebody that's never worked a day in their life, you can't give them the same insurance fee. Thank you very much.
Thanks for the call, Chuck. Well, and this goes to another debating society question: should insurance be so employer-driven? That's a kind of an accident of history of sorts. That's another question, but that's not a question that's going to be debated and resolved in the near term, I'll tell you that. Bob in Waukegan, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, Amy won't have to worry about her friend not paying his bill. When he passes away, they'll just take the lien that they have against his house and get their payment back. I've had a couple surgeries in the last 6 months, and I have insurance, which I pay over $12,000 a year on my wife's insurance. She's insured through the system, but I have to pay an extra $1,000 a month almost. So it's $12,000 a year almost for our insurance just for me. So I go into the hospital and have my operations done, and I still have a considerable amount to pay. I haven't worked for 6 months since I've been operated on, so they keep sending me the letter saying, hey, you're delinquent on your bill. And I'm like, hey, I can't pay it. I don't have any. I'm not working right now. And so I've got a neighbor who's an illegal. He's a friend of mine. I like him well enough. And he got injured at work working for another illegal, and he went to Lake Forest Hospital, and it cost him $18,000 something to have his injury repaired. And he came to my house and he said, Lake Forest has asked me to write a letter saying that I don't own my own house because he has he's living with his girlfriend for over 10 years, but they don't take the common law marriage into effect. And he comes down and says, would you write a letter for me to Lake Forest Hospital, because he didn't write English, and say, I don't own my house, I don't work all the time, which is true. He doesn't do that, and he doesn't work all the time. And so I write the letter for him. A couple weeks later, he gets a call from Lake Forest Hospital. Don't worry about it. Your $18,000 something hospital bill is paid in full. And I've been paying my taxes for, since Moby Dick was a minnow, and I'm stuck not being able to pay my bills right now. And so they'll just put a lien against my house and get it when I'm gone.
Hey, one suggestion I have for you real quick, try and talk down your medical bills. I do it all the time. Call your doctor's office and just say, hey, can you work with me with this? And I'm telling you, it works.
Right. I'm planning on it, but still, it's just, another thorn in the flesh of Americans. They wonder why we owe so much money and how come our insurance is so high. There's $18,000 just passed on to us.
Thanks for the call, Bob.
And the 165.
Well, you also have the issue. It's just the system where you disconnect consumer to provider from provider. It's impossible to control costs. That's how Medicaid works. That's how Medicare works. That's why they are functionally insolvent. You think payroll taxes finance the Medicaid expenditures? No, they don't. Not even close. Sarah in Mount Prospect.
Howdy. Good morning. I just heard a comment about how if you want good insurance, you need to go to work, you need to work hard, and I agree with that. But the people who really do need the insurance can't go to work. They can't work hard. The ones who benefit the most, those who have pre-existing conditions that don't allow them to work. Those are the people who need to be protected the most.
Well, I understand. I don't think anybody disagrees with that, and those with pre-existing conditions are contemplated and provided for effectively in both the House and the Senate versions of Obamacare replacement. Thanks for the call, Sarah. Linda in Barrington.
Good morning. I just want to say the truth behind all this is if under this new Republican bill, 22 million would lose people, but that's only, lose insurance, but that's only if they choose not to purchase this anymore. They're just removing the individual mandate, saying you don't have to buy it. So they wouldn't lose it. They would choose not to purchase it.
Yeah.
There's a big difference there.
No, that's the case for 15 million. That's right. That's exactly right, Linda. And that is a big difference. And it was an underreported subtext to the blaring headlines from the D.C. press corps about 22 million and the demagoguery from Comrade Bernie and his fellow apparatchiks in the Senate. Sean in Elmwood Park.
Well, that's the diabolical genius of Obamacare, is it expanded an imploding system of Medicare and Medicaid. And Amy, do you know why you can negotiate your health care bill the way you do when you call up?
I negotiate every bill, cable, cell phone, everything.
Let's just follow the shiny object. The reason you can do health care is because it's riddled with fraud by the health care provider and the people on it. That's why aspirins cost $40 when you go to the hospital, because they fraud the welfare system known as Medicaid and Medicare. So it's fraud on top of lies on top of fraud. And whenever you tweak it and change it, a government organization called the CBO that is nonpartisan, of course it's partisan. Its agenda is expanding its own power of government. So it's going to come out with 22 million people are going to lose their health care. Because you want to know who's going to pay your friend's bill with the 400 pounds with the chicken leg hanging out of his pocket that all of a sudden he's virtuous? We are. Just like we're going to pay the guy who couldn't pay because he's out of work. Just like we're going to pay the illegal alien because they're going to fraud the Medicaid and the Medicare. The doctors are in on it. The insurance companies are in on it. And you know who else
and you're also
all the people.
Yeah, you're also missing the point of Medicare and Medicaid. No, stop talking over me. You're missing the point that it's predicated on price controls, which encourage gaming of the system because you've got reimbursement rates that are below cost in some cases.
Dan, it's predicated on a lie. A lie that somehow government's going to save us. Because your 400-pound friend with the chicken leg hanging out of his pocket, he had a heart attack because God knows what the hell he ate that day. It's how we live our life. It's who we are. We all die. It's the one pre-existing condition we can't get away from.
All right, Sean. Thanks for the call. Tom in Schaumburg.
I don't know why this has to be so complicated. All we want these scumbag Republicans to do is abolish the mandate that forces us to buy this garbage and let the insurance companies sell whatever kind of policies we want to buy. If they want to stay in business, they're going to have to offer policies that we want to buy. I don't need coverage for a mammogram. I don't need coverage for drug addiction. I don't need coverage for alcoholism, given the fact I don't even drink. I don't need the kind of coverage that they're forcing me to buy right now. So just let us buy what we want to buy, and the world will be a better place. Thank you.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I hate cleaning my gutters. I kept hearing ads for that gutter guard system, so I thought, why not? I'll get an estimate. I was shocked. I never thought gutter guards could cost so much. Then I heard about Spring Rock gutter guards. The estimate is free, so it made sense to at least compare them. I was shocked again by how much money they saved me. I'm talking thousands, like enough to take my family to Disney World. They take a different approach to gutter protection. A completely closed design keeps all types of debris out of your gutters. Sure, those higher-priced systems may keep the leaves out, but Spring Rock gets the job done at up to half the price with no compromise on quality. Spring Rock also comes with the same lifetime warranty. If the gutter system ever clogs, they will clean it out for free, no questions asked. Same result for less money. That's smart. There's more than one option when it comes to gutter guards. Compare today and save at springrockgutters.com or call 708-571-0632. Special financing is available. Drain your gutters, not your wallet.
Finding great candidates to hire can be, well, like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is different. It doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them. With its powerful technology, ZipRecruiter distributes your job everywhere it needs to be to find the right candidates. In fact, over 80% of jobs on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just one day. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, only ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
Used by businesses of all sizes, ZipRecruiter offers the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work for your free trial. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
Are you buying or selling a business or starting a business? Maybe you have legal problems with a business partner or employees, or are just drowning in new regulations. You need the support of a law firm that concentrates in a wide range of business law and tax matters. You need the corporate team at Kelleher & Buckley. Whether you're a local mom and pop shop, middle market business, or a large corporation or franchise, they provide cost-effective legal solutions to help your businesses thrive. The lawyers of Kelleher & Buckley focus on targeted legal advice tailored to meet the specific needs of your business. You deserve competent legal representation from a law firm maintaining a high level of knowledge about the ever-changing laws governing businesses. One that also includes accountants and tax specialists on board to provide your business bottom-line solutions. Kelleher & Buckley, LLC of North Barrington and Chicago is a legal solution provider that also includes estate planning, asset protection, life insurance planning, and litigation. Keep your business on track. Call 847-382-9130 or online at kelleherbuckley.com.
What if you could enjoy total peace of mind when it comes to home security? What if the best technology came from a local company who puts the customer's needs first? Alarm Detection Systems is the right choice for an alarm system with complete control from your phone or tablet. Know when your children arrive home from school. View live streaming video. Check up on your pets. Receive alerts for extreme temperatures. Know if leaks or floods have been detected. Get real-time text alerts sent to your phone. Family-owned and operated since 1968, Alarm Detection Systems understands that nothing is more important than the safety of your family. Your security system will be monitored by our central station in Aurora, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Alarm Detection Systems is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Our on-site security consultation is always free. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6322. That's 630-844-6322. Alarm license number 127000143.